Okay, you're
Hello,
done.
hello, hello.
We haven't
डराते
decided who
नहीं
is the
सर.
host. We haven't decided who is the host. So
I'll,
let's be
I'll,
chaotic.
no, I'll be the host because I've not watched any of what you guys have watched, except for one,
Okay.
one episode of the
Lovely.
of the Fateful series.
Lovely. क्या host है?
Um, yeah, yeah,
मस्त informed host है.
bilkul. But no, I'm also curious at least about Loka because it's there and like people are aware about it, but like it's not being talked about perhaps as much as it should be. So, hello and welcome to this live stream, month ender live stream. I think, yeah, we're at the end of September.
Yeah. I think it's a 2 month ender live stream, but ठीक है.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, but we're not covering 2 months. So,
Yeah.
Amartya and Chris are going to be talking about the bards of Bollywood.
It required four. It required 4 stars, but it was given 3 for aesthetic
Aesthetic के
purposes.
नाम पे 3 लगा
So
दिया.
I should probably warn viewers who are on the live stream. I don't see a view counter. Dhruv will probably tell me koi nahi aaya abhi. But whatever. That Amartya and Chris will be discussing spoilers. So if you've not watched the show and you
Massive
want
spoilers,
suspense
huh?
preserved, so
Yeah, massive
you might want
spoilers.
to head out. I don't know whether they spoil the show honestly, because if you're smart enough, you'll pick up in the first episode. But I mean, no harm done if you don't pick up also.
Hi,
Debolina,
Debolina.
we are discussing spoilers. Just by the way, hello. So if you want to preserve that, I don't know. Then should we start with Loka and then go into the bads of Bollywood?
I don't. I think one
What do
of
you
the
guys
bigger
want to do?
prob. I think one of the bigger problems is Twitter has already spoiled it in the first day itself. Like I am the
That
one who
is true.
avoided Twitter,
Does that?
but it spoiled the shit out of the show. कुछ भी नहीं कह सकते
I
इसके
mean,
बाद.
that one advantage of binging it on the first day was that I got it over before the spoilers started coming out.
You know,
Which
this
is
मेरा
the
भी
is
only
same है.
way to do
this is
it.
मेरा भी
why
Yeah.
I'm
same है.
looking forward to the show Netflix is putting out tomorrow, which is the House of Guinness. Because क्या ही
Because
spoil
nobody
करोगे?
gives a fuck.
No, क्या ही
Nobody
spoil
gives.
करोगे? इन चार
Yeah.
बंदों ने stout बना दिया, which everybody likes drinking,
Yeah.
including
Yeah.
me. But for my friend, in case she's watching, I'm going to do it in moderation. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's I think
Yes.
That's it.
yeah,
Yes.
that's basically it. I
Yes.
think though I think the way he phrases it in the film is like, because he's talking about him, he should have just said in relation to him as opposed to whatever he was doing. So he should have said Bandi Behan Nikli, which would have made more sense. But Bhabhi Behan Nikli, whatever is fine. So yeah, let's start off with the bads of Bollywood, or the bastards of
Bad.
Bollywood, because I've given 3 spoiler warnings at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, bastards, basically the entire film industry, and yeah, everyone in the political scene. I'm taking full use of my visa right now.
और
But yeah,
हम लोग
हम लोग
को
को
बच लो
हम लोग को
सर.
मार के निकल रहे हो आप.
so directed by Aryan Khan, suputra of Shah Rukh Khan. Shah Rukh Khan, the guy with the open arms and everything, Dhruv Pagal जिसके बारे में है.
Congrats, Aryan Vyas. Yep. That's
Yeah.
one joke. That's one joke that's never going to get old.
So yeah, congratulations to Aryan Khan, aka Aryan Vyas. Aryan is now gone back to the United States to do physiotherapy studies that he was previously pursuing. So yeah, it's basically a show that satirizes Bollywood and does a lot of stuff that's at least worth talking about, which is why we are here primarily. We are not that opportunistic that just because people are talking about the show, we are talking about it. Amartya and Chris both have something valuable to say about it, or at least
I
believe it
highly
has
doubt that
something.
about myself. I highly doubt that about myself. I don't take myself that seriously. But ठीक है.
Yeah, Dhruv, we are not getting into incest,
We
please.
are not getting into that shit. No.
This is Bastards of Bollywood, not Bastards of Bollywood by way of Game of Thrones. or
Though
100
to be
years of
fair, that's
solitude.
though to be fair, that's exactly what it is in the show. So कुछ भी
I
नहीं
mean,
कह
do,
सकते.
do they have sex? I suppose that is the operative question.
No, they did not. That's
Yeah,
the thing.
so they managed to preserve that bit, right?
He
Anyway, so
just
yeah,
missed that part. He just
yeah.
missed that
So
part.
we are quickly name checking the cast. The show is, of course, it stars Bobby Deol, the only person with a solo credit on screen. which is
Yes.
just shambolic. 10 years ago, this would not have happened. And now I yearn for 10 years ago. Also, Laksh, Raghav Juyal, Anya Singh, Seher Bamba, Mona Singh, विजयंत कोहली, मनोज पावा, रजत बेदी, जो
Rajat,
इसमें किसी की भी इज्जत नहीं करता पर लूटता भी किसी की नहीं है, which is a relief. Who else is there? Manish Chaudhary, of course, who's
Manish Chaudhary,
as always very interesting to watch, and a whole host of people from the film industry
Bollywood.
playing themselves, um, including Shah Rukh Khan, aka
Who is
Ghante Ka
playing
Badshah.
it? Who are playing themselves to the extent that Salman Khan, I don't think even was aware that he was in. He was being shot. He was being
Yeah.
shot on a camera. Okay, he just walked into the party, said bullshit party, said बाप बनने का डर है, and walked off. I am like, तुझे पता भी है कैमरा है तेरे सामने? I don't think so.
I still think the Singham again cameo was quote unquote cameo was longer than what he was in it.
Yes.
In this.
Yeah, but Singham again looked like it was shot on the Big Boss set. So
It looked worse. The Big Boss set looks better than that.
you would know. Shot
I
man
would know.
Yeah, so short.
Dhruv has
This is in
recently become
reference.
friends.
This is in.
Dhruv has
This is
recently
in
become friends
reference to
with Aryan
Sikandar.
Khan.
This is in reference to Sikandar.
But yeah, fire away. So sorry, one more thing I suppose is that the show is not entirely Aryan's brainchild or Khan's brainchild, whichever one you prefer. It's co-created by Bilal Siddiqui, who wrote this terrible book called The Bard of Blood.
Which has a terrible show also.
Yeah, but he's
Let's not
employed by
forget that.
so I
Yes.
suppose that's what accounts for all of this. Also by someone called Manav Chauhan, so props to him. Executive producers include the likes of Akshat Verma, and his influence is clearly visible. Akshat Verma, for anybody who doesn't know, is the writer of Delhi Belly and the writer and director of Kalakandi. I wish he would write more scripts, but he appears to be happier doing this, I guess. Is there
Writing
anything
is
we've
a tough
left?
job.
Anybody we've left? There's a Diljit Dosanjh song. There's an Anirudh song. There is a
There are
yeah.
cameos by
There
people
is
like
there is
you don't expect
there is a
cameos to.
item number of
Which
word.
is not actually in the show, but it's shot by Farah and it's promotional material, and it looks quite hideous if I say so myself.
The better Farah Khan shot song in this entire thingy is the Gafoor song, which is an earworm, by the way. I can't.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Arshad Varsi is in the show, and
Yes,
wow,
Arshad
Arshad
what
Varsi.
Varsi.
happened to
Imran
Omar?
Hashmi is in the show.
Yeah, but
Or
Imran
Arshad Varsi is
Hashmi
playing a character.
is the
Imran Hashmi is playing
character. Yeah,
himself.
yeah. Yes,
Uh,
Imran
that's true.
Hashmi cameo is like masterclass cameo. I'm like,
uh,
I think
why
that's
not
that's
use
for
it?
me the only one damn good joke in the entire show, if I'm being entirely honest. It's the
Yes.
one joke that I really liked.
No, I think I liked a couple of the jokes, even though most of those are like quite blatantly placed. So
hmm.
I can understand. Like,
So yeah,
listen,
guys,
but
go ahead. I'm here just to ask questions and be shouted at by Dhruv.
no, I think the fact of the matter is there are a lot of jokes that ideally could be taken as low hanging fruits, but you have to expect some of that. Like we knew that Aryan Khan was going to comment on his own quote unquote imprisonment by the NCB and all that shit. But to
Hmm.
actually cast someone who looks like Samir Wankere
Yeah,
and use that, I'm like, see, you made an effort. I can
yeah,
appreciate that somewhat. So, I can like that. I don't think it's a massively great joke which is like bursting out of everywhere, but I'm like, see,
Hmm.
I can appreciate that at least you made an effort to ensure that people got the joke and ensure that you got the last word out.
I
Good
mean,
for you,
I
good for
get
you,
that.
I
I think for me, I think that all is fine. I just think there's, I don't know. There's something about. I mean, it's just the fact that our sense of humors don't align at all. Like I was telling Varun this before the stream started, but I consider myself a South Bombay kid because I grew up in South Bombay. And our sense of humor is very different from someone like Aryan Khan, who I consider a Bandra kid. And the
Chris, I'm
fundamental
going to cut
difference.
you off. Chris, I'm going to cut you off. You cannot
Hmm.
be a South Bombay kid and a Navy brat at the same time. Pick a side.
I
It
am
feels
both.
too
That is the
disjointed,
beauty.
na? It feels too disjointed, na, Tora?
That's the charm of it all. I'm sorry. But the Bandra humor is like extremely juvenile, which I just can't get behind. It's just not my thing. It's like the
We are going
amount
to get
like
called an elitist podcast.
I don't
Yes.
mind that. That's just
Wait,
my sense of humor. I'm
hold on one
sorry.
second. Wait, hold on one second. We already aren't being called an elitist podcast. Now that's a crime. We should have been called that much earlier.
Fair
The
enough.
point being that, like, yes, this is the Tismar Khan fan speaking, and particularly, like, my point being that I don't find this much gali galoch and, like, cursing for the sake of cursing and extreme violence funny. It's just not my thing. I don't
Yeah.
think it's inherently funny. And for me, so
Uh-huh.
fundamentally, the problem was that I just never was on the same level as the show in the gags that it was making. Like, I thought the Rajamouli Amir Khan thing was incredibly lazy. Like, just
Oh, that
you've
was
got
bad.
these two people, you've got these two people on a screen, you can do better than this. Like, come on.
Also,
Um,
Rajamouli picking vada pav over idli sambar.
Yeah, that was more. That was more like her. Why?
that's supposed to be the joke, apparently. I'm just like,
What?
no, thank you. Yeah, that Rajamouli picks vada pav over idli sambar is supposed to be the joke of the bit. But
And you're telling me
anyway,
a Bombay person is batting for a Bombay person batting for idli sambar is just absolute sort of, it's like blasphemy, because Bombay people,
I am a Mallu
they
person who
they
doesn't bat
eat
for idli
they
sambar.
eat sweet sambar. And, like, okay, I've lived a lot, not lived a lot there, but Tamilians know how to make sambar, all right? Maharashtrians don't. And Amir Khan saying idli sambar is better than vada
At this
pav
point,
is
at
basically
this
him
point,
saying sweet sambar is better.
at this point, the
Anyway,
fact that
that's
Maharashtrians haven't cancelled us is a minor miracle. But he,
that doesn't matter, sir.
Anyways, so that was, I think, my fundamental
Yeah, yeah.
problem with the show is that I was just entirely disconnected the whole time. And
Okay.
for me, the Imran Hashmi joke is a microcosm of what if this show was more like that, I would have loved it. Like,
Hmm.
I think the entire way that is revealed, the way that even plays out, even Raghav Joyal, who I think is given not very good material, but I just think he's very charismatic, so he pulls it off pretty well.
Yeah.
That is what I wanted out of the show, and I just felt like it was incredible. Like you say, it was kind of going for the low hanging fruit the whole time, and also it was playing for something that like that's why, like, the Farah Khan comparisons really irk me, because Farah
Hmm.
Khan has a certain what do you call like self awareness, but also commitment to her comedy, and
Yeah.
and which is simultaneously managed with a beating heart, even in, like, especially in something like Om Shanti Om, which everyone's comparing this to, which I just don't see in this show. Like, anytime there's a moment of emotionality, it has to be cut right, like, through, because haha, we know we are going to melodrama. It's like, just commit to something,
I
man.
disagree. I disagree somewhat on this because second half of the show is very much like it is completely focusing on the narrative, and I don't think it is cutting off the melodrama. On the
No, but the
contrary, I
problem is
wish
that
it
then
did. On the contrary, I wish it did cut off on the melodrama. On the contrary, I wish it was less. I wish it was more self-aware. The second half, the main problem is that it wasn't. The second half, the main problem is it was focusing more on the narrative,
no,
which
but the
is
problem
just
becomes
made.
then it becomes very inconsistent, right? That is another problem of mine. There are some episodes which I thought were absolute filler, and others which are like, for me, the whole film first section is so bad that entire sixth episode I
But,
despised.
but that's funny. What do you mean you
It's not.
despise that?
Have you seen Om Shanti Om? Like, I'm sorry, I know what
Hmm.
that is like when it's done incredibly
Of
well.
course,
Like, I'm
of course,
sorry
he's
that.
going to. एक second. Of course, he's going to try to make a Divangi sort of an episode. Basically, the Divangi
Hmm.
gag into a complete episode. I get that, but of
Sir,
course, you are not.
Divangi gag chodo. None of the what a quote unquote celebrity interviews are as funny as just the line of Sanjay Kapoor going, Om and I are just friends. Like, it doesn't, like that. That one line is
No, and he
funnier
says
than
it.
the
He says
entire
it
bit.
so seriously. Om Kapoor and I are just good friends.
No, the funniest part is you can see him in the background when Rani Mukherjee says
Hmm.
that, standing
Yeah.
next in line to come, and that idea like sparking in his head to say that
Minute
like
to
10
puta,
seconds.
like that.
Like, he doesn't do any of the trailers, which
Hmm.
Farad, I think, are the funniest part of that bit in the entire thing,
Oh
with
yeah.
the Khiladi trailer and
I'll tell you.
the
I'll
Dhruv
tell
5
you what.
trailer.
I'll tell you what a major issue is here. At least one of the major issues is it's essentially just like associating any show with a very specific marker and basing your expectation on that marker. Again, I'm not
I
saying it's
don't
a
agree
bad
with
thing.
that. No,
No, no,
I don't
hold on,
agree
hold on.
with that. Huh?
Hold on. I'm just saying I'm not saying it's a bad thing that you're trying to associate and like moderately trying to compare it with Om Shanti Om, because honestly, I don't think in Bollywood or anywhere anything has come quite close to critiquing or satirizing Bollywood as well as Om Shanti Om, and this is coming from somebody who doesn't like it that much. Okay. So I'm just saying that I can understand the comparison. I can understand why somebody's expectation would not be met by a show like this.
Yeah.
I don't think that the show is, I don't think that the show, like, even if the show is trying to reach Om Shanti Om levels, it is not going to reach there. And I don't think I had that
Yeah.
expectation anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never had that expectation. क्योंकि पहले episode में the first hour, the first episode itself is extremely clunky, by the way. ठीक है? When the
Yeah.
first episode started, I was like, oh boy, this is not looking good. That was my literal reaction. That this is not looking good. Some of the jokes aren't landing, or some of the gags का थोड़ा off step है.
Yeah.
But it's also because you need some time to get to the rhythm of what a show is, and by the second
Yeah.
episode I realized, oh okay, so
Hmm.
जोक का क्वालिटी इससे ज्यादा अच्छा होने नहीं वाला है. अगर होगा so that will be a miracle. So I'm like, my expectations are anyway set at
So
this point.
that's the difference. So I'm very clearly differentiating between what I think is my subjective problem with the show, which is my sense of humor not being on the same
Yeah.
line as the show, my particular taste. Like, for example, one of the big thing is I don't like a hero like Lakshya because I'm lamenting the death of the metrosexual hero. That's the kind of character I like. I like the Shahrukhs, the Saifs of the 2000s and 2010s, which weren't constantly on the verge of violence like every single moment. It's just not my thing. So
Right.
I'm saying I can put my subjective criticisms on one side, but I still
Yeah.
think there are fundamental writing and craft level problems with the show,
Okay.
Sir,
which
basic
are like,
writing issues to 100% है.
And
ठीक है?
I'll come in
Narrative-
there
that's
with a
what-
bit. Let
Hmm.
Chris finish. Yeah. Chris finish
so
what
my
you were saying.
point is, like, for example, in that episode, forget Om Shanti Om. Okay, let's look at that film first wala episode. There's this moment of Laksh's character winning the award.
Yeah.
Basic वो episode में you're trying to they're clearly trying to build some kind of a tension / gag. Of course, you know Lakshya is going to win, but you've got the other people there, and you've got this shot where Siddhant Chaturvedi stands up together, like, you know. But
Like
it's like
Abhishek
a
Bachchan in Om Shanti Om does.
yes, but there's like this simultaneous problem where it wants to be irreverent and funny, but it
Yeah.
also wants to build this emotional tension because Laksh wants to go up there and mourn his father's loss and give
Yeah.
his homage to Shahrukh. Those two
Yeah.
things just don't go together, so it makes that entire episode feel like a weird, like, tonal whiplash constantly. Like, you start with
No,
Ghante
I
Ka
think-
Badshah, then you go
Again,
to
I think-
the
again,
Rajat
I
Bedi
think-
bit. Yeah.
I
Here's
get
the
what you're
thing.
saying.
Here's the thing though, I think वो narrative का issue तो 100% है, क्योंकि again the second half is more narrative heavy, which is why when you are constructing, say, an entire satire on a film first, which kind of what a show like the studio does in every episode, is that it is trying to be, how do I put this? It is trying to be both like a bottle episode and also trying to connect to a larger narrative, quote unquote. That's what it is trying to do. Here वो balance नहीं है, especially in that film first episode, which is why it feels almost overwhelming, because you are trying to put an emotionality, but you are also trying to ensure that वो jokey nature है. The show could have solved it by being long. The episode could have solved it by being just a tad bit longer. It could have done that, or you could have shifted the film first episode earlier. You could have done that.
So I have
I
one
don't
point.
think there's enough material for it to be an entire episode, but I'm sorry, Varun, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, bolo,
So
bolo.
on the point of whether Laksh is a good enough hero in that sense, I was wondering if that could just be a consequence of how our cinema has panned out. You see,
Yeah.
Shahrukh and Saif are a direct, as metrosexual heroes, they are almost a direct descendant of the Shashi Kapoor, Rishi
Yes.
Kapoor lineage.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And Akshay Kumar, without the social drama of it, took on the mantle of a Bachchan. Akshay Kumar, Sunil Shetty,
The action hero,
Sunny
essentially.
Deol actually took over the
Sunny
mantle.
Deol. Sunny
Let's
Deol
be
more
frank.
like
Let's give him
Yeah,
his
yeah.
due, right?
Yeah.
I'm wondering whether then Aryan Khan is also riffing on what he's grown up watching, because if
Yeah.
he's what 2 years older than me, so he
Hmm.
and I have to have grown up watching the same cinema, at least as far as Bollywood is concerned. So
Yeah.
when you start understanding film, at least
Hmm.
basically, what are the touch points for him? The touch points are a Dabang, a Rowdy
Hmm.
Rathod, a
Hmm.
Dawn 2,
Hmm.
and increasingly from 2010 onwards, once Dabang becomes a hit, Singham, of course,
Hmm.
Dabang becomes a hit, the metrosexual hero just starts to melt away,
Yeah.
right? He's not. Now the earlier the metrosexual hero was a guy who was also confident, who may have had some
Hmm.
insecurities. Now he's only insecurities and no confidence,
Yeah.
Three
right?
Idiots.
So
Three Idiots.
I don't think they're any of them sexual in any way,
No,
sir.
no, 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 no. I'm talking about.
They're
I'm talking
engineering
about.
students.
I'm talking about Kareena Kapoor ka boyfriend. Oh, fuck off. I'm talking about Kareena Kapoor ka boyfriend. Kareena Kapoor ka boyfriend in Three
Yeah, fair
Idiots.
enough, fair enough.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it's a consequence of that. I'm not
Hmm.
defending it, because I
No, no.
It's not just a
find
I
consequence of
agree.
that. It's not just a consequence of that. It's also a consequence of current climate का जो heroes होने चाहिए.
Absolute.
It's
Like, that's
also a
what I'm
consequence
saying,
of that.
right?
yeah.
For me, it's a Bollywood level problem. Like, there's a reason
Okay,
why
yeah.
I didn't like Sayyara at all, and that's in a certain extent that is
मैंने
also towards
देखी ही नहीं है वो पिक्चर.
मत देखो.
how
It's
mat dekho
fine.
how
It's fine.
Ahan Pandey's character, like, he's very much a Kabir Singh light. I
Yeah.
just
Okay.
don't like that kind of masculinity
He's a
in
soft.
in
He's what you called on WhatsApp. He's a soft boy.
it's
Okay.
not as
No. But by soft boy I meant मैंने प्यार किया, जाने मन, all those characters that Salman did in context of
Okay.
that conversation. Because
Uh,
Dhruv is a big
I think
champion of जाने मन.
that is closer to the metrosexual hero, I
Right.
feel
Yeah.
like. But
right.
so my thing is, it is, for me, it's a fun, that's what I'm saying, that's a subjective criticism of mine. I
Okay.
don't like kind of a hero, I don't like this kind of a
No,
character
fair enough.
usually.
Yeah.
Certain like, I like it in a Dabang because that's an action movie, that kind of
Yeah.
a setting, cool. This kind of a more pared down drama comedy thing, not. And also for me, like I said, for example, the first scene of the show, I knew that I was in trouble. That whole,
Hmm.
the guy falling off the set and very dramatically getting injured,
It got
and
one
Laksh coming.
it got one filmmaking fundamental wrong in that, by the way.
Hmm.
Which
Where
one
the
are
hell
we
are the
talking about?
where the hell are the cables? Stunt crew wear
Exactly.
cables.
That's the first thing I thought. I'm like, where the hell are the cables? What happened to basic
Where are the
security,
crash mats?
safety on set? And it's like,
Maybe it is that cheap.
Sanjeet
Maybe
watching
it is
that
that cheap.
episode.
Maybe it is that cheap. Maybe that filmmaking is that cheap.
the
Or
point
maybe
was
that's how
essentially-
Aditya Chopra makes movies.
Exactly. Exactly. Because we know who is critiquing here, Aryan. We see you.
No, it's also play on the fact that the Parsis used to run the Bombay film industry at one point of time.
Yeah.
Like Fali
Yeah.
Mistri and Jal Mistri and all those guys were
Yeah,
over
yeah.
there.
But
Also,
also,
I just want to point this out. I realized as I was thinking about this, and as Chris was talking about like the kind of heroes we have in cinema, I forgot like the OG metrosexual hero Devanand, who
Yes,
actually
of
marries
course.
the metrosexual image and like a brusque, brooding, manly man very well in CID.
yes.
Raj Khosla's film.
While I agree with Chris's, matlab, how do I put this? More or less reticences in all these scenarios. I also think there is a simple fact that since this is Aryan Khan who is directing this, like co-writing the Bilal Siddiqui and all that stuff, it is very much a healthy, like too much of a homage to his father, to the extent that during the 90s and all that, Shah Rukh Khan
Yeah.
was essentially an outsider come rebel in a way. If you
Yes.
see some of his
Yeah.
interviews, he was very much like, don't give a shit. Literally don't.
That Rajat Sharma interview where he's
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
"आप सब best हो, मैं आपसे थोड़ा सा better हूँ." That
Ah.
cockiness, if you're
That
trying to
cockiness-
capture it in a Lux, you're not going to get it. You'd probably get
You're
it in
not
a.
going to get it, but I can understand that Aryan is trying.
No,
उसका
but
actor गलत है, उसका
But
actor
then that's a
गलत
fun.
है.
I think that's a fundamental misunderstanding
Yeah.
of what Shah Rukh was back then. Because I've seen all of Shah Rukh's movies because I'm that big of a Shah Rukh fan. And having seen his films from the 90s, there is a reason. Like even then, even in his most quote unquote intense or masculine roles,
Yeah.
there is still that gentleness to him, which is what made him, I think, especially amongst female audiences, such an icon. And for me,
Mhm.
that is what is fundamentally like for me, Laksh is very much a product of 2025 Bollywood.
Yeah,
I don't see him as a Shah Rukh homage. He
he's
doesn't
not.
work as a Shah Rukh homage to me
Yeah,
at all.
yeah. If
But
you,
then again, if you are going to look at it from that point of view, again, see, if you are going to take like attributes of all
hmm,
that
Hmm.
stuff, right? Then you are going to try to locate it in a 2025 sphere. And
Hmm.
again, I'm not
hmm.
defending Aryan Khan or anything. I'm just trying to
Yeah.
understand what is working during
That's
Hmm.
this scenario.
true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm wondering, but then doesn't it make the show a little uninteresting if you're trying to do so much
Absolutely.
that is so samey? Like,
Hmm.
okay, and this is a gripe for a person who's watched just one episode. I really shouldn't have this problem. Bobby Deol is a superstar.
This is the thing I've been saying as soon as the
Good
show was
grief, man.
announced.
At least,
but
okay,
the
at
90s,
least
the
cast.
90s. Sir,
Ruko, 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 ruko. No, no, no.
I have a
I have,
bigger question.
no,
I
no,
have a
no.
bigger
I
question.
have a,
90s में कितने सुपरस्टार थे कि बॉलीवुड को बॉबी देओल सुपरस्टार लगता है? That is
no,
my
no, no.
bigger
My
question.
point is,
Hmm.
शाहरुख को ही ले लो ना यार. पड़ा है घर पे. उसी से करवा लो.
I
I think
also think
And if
I
Bobby
think
if
Deol
if
being
professionally
if,
the
to
if
expect
star,
professionally
Bobby
to
Deol being
expect.
the star grounds it very much in 2025. Like there is a reason why Bobby Deol is the star.
he's a
If
meme, that's why he's a star today.
and also if I no, but I also think if Animal hadn't
He's
happened,
also
I
in
don't think
Animal.
Bobby
He's
Deol would
also in
have gotten
Yeah,
Animal.
so
cast.
I have a point on that, right? I feel like if they'd cast Shahrukh in that role,
Hmm.
they'd have gotten two things done. One is they
Hmm.
could have made the argument that ye bhi outsider tha or whatever. I don't know
Hmm.
which way the show goes with Ajay Talwar's backstory, but it would
No,
have
it
been
goes kind of
Shahrukh.
where you expect.
It would
It's
have
kind
been
of goes.
Hmm.
basically Shahrukh playing the Amrish Puri role from
Hmm.
DDLJ.
Yes.
And that's a
Absolutely.
great sort of, you can actually call that an homage also to Amrish Puri. Because
Hmm.
Amrish Puri was also looming over the careers of all these actors, as they came in, like Sunny Deol, Shah Rukh
Yeah.
Khan. All these guys have played opposite. And okay, I'm an Amrish Puri fan, so it's kind of
Hmm.
like
Sir,
obviously there is an agenda here, but
but again,
my
Hmm.
that's kind of like, again, I'm not saying that you are doing that, but again, that's kind of like supplanting expectations of what a show
definitely.
could
But
have been.
I'm also saying Bobby Deol is a charisma vacuum. I'm sorry, he emanates nothing.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to I'm going to
Thank you
disagree
for saying
somewhat
that.
here. I think he was fine. I think he
No,
was
no, but
fine in
but you
this.
know, but but
He was fine
but
in this.
Amartya, it's not about whether he was fine. I'm saying, is he even? So the thing with superstars is that Sunny Deol's thing is almost that जितना वो harsh on screen है, उतना ही is the teddy
Soft.
bear cuddling guy
Hmm.
in interviews and stuff. Shah Rukh has this cocky, bratish kind of vibe to him. People call
Hmm.
him witty. I don't think Shah Rukh is very witty. He's just
Hmm.
he's enjoyably cocky to people. Salman is
Hmm.
just rude and obnoxious, and Amir is the over intellectualizer, and Saif is the stoner. If you want to round
Hmm.
that off,
Yes.
Ajay Talwar does not remind me of any of the big stars of either the 90s or the 2000s.
Hmm.
It's almost like saying, Ranbir Kapoor, who is probably the most
Hmm.
personality less star there is, whose work literally does all the talking for him until he opens his big fat mouth and lands his foot in it. He has more charisma than Bobby Deol.
Hmm.
So the problem really is that how am I expected to buy that somebody is willing to कोई इसकी दीवार टाप के अपना सर अपना पैर तोड़ रहा है just for a photo with Bobby Deol, because Ajay Talwar is Bobby Deol. He is not
Hmm.
Ajay Talwar. There's nothing to him that's different, that's unique, that's interesting. So
Hmm.
I felt like that was a major shortcoming
Hmm.
from even that one episode where he's like, "Arey beta, now this that." I'm like, dude, you come from a lineage of some fantastic actors. I have differences of opinion with Dharmendra and Sunny Deol's performances in lots of movies, especially Rocky or Rani and Gadar and all that nonsense.
But
Hmm.
But come
considering you're the son of
on,
Dharmendra is like, people underestimate how good Dharmendra
Dharmendra
was,
in
man.
Hmm.
Dharmendra in Hakikat, Dharmendra in Sholay.
Yeah,
That
correct.
there's nothing. I don't envy anybody as much as I envy the people who are going to watch that restoration, because to watch the camera go like this and Dharmendra stand up, blood
Hmm.
soaked hands and say Gabbar Singh, that is That thing
That
is
is an
cinema, dude.
image.
Come
That is
on.
an image. Yeah, that is an
And
image.
Bobby Deol, I'm not saying Bobby Deol needs to be like his dad, because honestly, if we were all to sit down and अगर हम मोल भाव करने निकल गए, हम कोई भी अपने बाप के बराबर तो नहीं निकलने वाले, एटलीस्ट मैं
Of
नहीं
course
निकलने
not.
वाला.
Hmm.
No, no, of course
So
not.
I can't speak for others, but he's not a star. I'm just, that's
Hmm.
the problem. I'm supposed to buy into it. I'm not able to buy into it. It's very simple.
Hmm.
Then what am I like, expected to
Buy into.
believe? Like, yeah, like,
Hmm.
if Javed Sheikh in Om Shanti Om looked like a bigger star, and
Hmm.
Javed Sheikh is not even Indian. We've not even seen most of his movies. All of us know him from Namaste London and Om Shanti Om.
Hmm.
You know? So what the hell?
No, I think I disagree with both of your qualms here, because I felt
Hmm.
that given the role that he was saddled with, like Deol,
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
the word saddled with suits him more than the role
Yeah, because he's
given.
not a good
Yeah,
enough
Hmm.
actor to rise
he's
above the
not a
script.
good. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So given the role that he was saddled with, I think that wo charisma vacuum term to use in this show is a tad bit unfair, because I genuinely think that he does the part. जितना part दिया गया है, he does the part just about enough. And
No, but the
But
problem
हवा
is
होना
that
चाहिए ना
doing
सर
the
थोड़ा.
part is not enough to make the show believable. No, that is the fundamental problem.
that's true.
The no, the thing is like, my problem is that there is a fundamental inability to buy into the show, just because to me it is so incredibly confused about what it wants to be at any point of time, because it like we were saying, it switches rapidly between being irreverent and being plotty, that I feel like someone like Karan is the only person who's able to handle that like pretty seamlessly, because his performance is entirely so camp. He is
Hmm.
channeling that sort of queenie, that kind of an attitude,
He's
which
he's
does.
Karan Johar as understood by Kangana Ranaut.
Yes, exactly.
And
That
Yes,
that
was his
was
hundred
that
belief.
percent,
is
100%. That's exactly what
and
he
that
is.
is
That is
exactly
exactly what
what
he
the
is.
show needed,
Yeah.
because it works both as a really good comedic bit, and it also works into the drama, the what do you call, the exaggerated drama of the show, which I also think to a certain extent someone like Arshad Varsi manages.
Yeah.
But for me, the
Arshad
thing
Varsi's
is,
look, by the way,
Oh,
is basically Shahrukh from
he's
Raees.
it's
basically from
Rais.
Rice. Yeah.
It's right. But so the problem is that someone like Bobby Deol does
Yeah.
not sell uh, either half particularly well. But
Hmm.
but but like, the only thing is that because of the twist, it kind of retroactively makes you recontextualize his performance, so you are slightly more forgiving of it. But that doesn't change the fact that for 7 episodes he was hardly believable as this quote unquote biggest star of Bollywood.
I will,
That's a
I will tell you,
fundamental
I will tell
problem.
you,
Also,
I will tell you what a fundamental issue here is, okay? And
Hmm.
this is also kind of what my critique of the studio was always about. Okay, there are
Hmm.
two ways you can do a satire, right? Again,
yeah,
I
Hmm.
haven't seen Altman's Player. I really need to watch that movie,
you
okay? But
do.
I'm just saying, yeah, I
Hmm.
really need to watch that movie. But again, you can do it two ways. You can make it so satirical that narrative is
Hmm.
irreverent. It's just incidents upon incidents happening in isolation. Character
Hmm.
ka progression overall doesn't matter
Hmm.
unless
Hmm.
the character progression is so big, unless the character is established in such a fashion that multiple incidents after that completely clocks back all the progression you had decided in the previous case.
Hmm.
Unless that happens, you can do it like this. Mera criticism with the studio was always that Seth Rogen was established as something in the first episode. In
Hmm.
Hmm.
subsequent episodes, that establishment doesn't work at all until in the finale. So I'm like, you are not consistent at all, even if you are
Hmm.
trying to
Also,
be
I mean,
comedic.
if
Yeah,
because we're talking about the studio, it completely undercuts everything we've understood of the studio system since the 80s, which is that studios have always managed to find a way to make artistic pictures
which is
and blockbusters
categorically not
work.
true. Which is
Yeah, like
categorically not true.
Fox did it by dividing their assets between 20th Century and Searchlight,
Yeah, so it's
literally.
categorically not true. Yeah,
So over here, I felt like even the problem with Bobby Deol also is because by default it's also playing on his image of the 90s.
Hmm.
I
yes,
obviously don't remember the 90s well. I spent only 40 days in the 90s. But
Hmm.
I remember Soldier.
yeah, Soldier, Gopt, Barsat, probably. I don't know.
I
Hmm.
remember Goop,
Yeah. So Gupt is, I mean, the defining part of the
the
film, right?
defining.
That
Yeah,
it
Hmm.
uses, or Hindi Shawshank, whatever you want to call it. Hindi short is booked, right? Yeah. So
Q, sir.
just
What
because
did they call it in the show? Sailab, no?
Sailab 2.
Salab,
Yes,
Sailab
Salab
Sailab
1,
1.
one.
yes.
Yeah.
Sailab
Yeah.
1.
So I'm like, dude, he looks like a nut job. You're expecting me to believe that's a star? Like, I'm sure there were people going crazy about Bobby Deol, people getting their chests signed and bras signed and, their fucking jackets signed and
Sir,
whatever. I don't know.
people go crazy over Salman Khan even now. It's okay.
Sir,
People are
Salman is
insane.
different. I mean, I don't know how to explain that phenomenon. That needs a proper sociological study. Uh,
Yeah.
Yes.
but I'm it's also that because it is reliant it is by default reliant on Bobby Deol's own legacy is why the stardom doesn't work. If it had used another actor, right, who had actually been a star, or that's why Shah Rukh is the one that comes to mind,
Hmm.
because Shah Rukh has been an accepted star at some point, and
Okay. Okay.
Dhruv is writing better lines than the people who wrote the bastards.
People.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Aryan Khan, if you're looking for a dialogue writer for season 2, we have Dhruv Krishna Goyal.
We have Dhruv Krishna Goyal
Both
here.
of you love your father, so not your respective fathers. Both of you love Aryan's father
I
as
don't
well.
think I don't think we needed
Um,
that explanation, but
so,
No.
but yeah, it feels like I don't know why this is happening at some point. I think the whole shtick with some of it feels like I'm really going to go nuts about some stuff. And so you've got this, cocky little, not even cocky is actually almost affectionate. This asshole of a teenager who's just wanking off while wearing VR goggles.
Oh God, I was going
Suddenly,
to talk about that. It
what
almost made me like throw my phone out the window.
I can get.
I do have to say, I am not entirely sure, and maybe Chris can help me understand it. Are these
Yes.
kids really that spoiled?
Not just that. No, hold on. सबके घर में झापड़ पड़ेगा सर अगर ऐसे बात करेंगे तो किसी के घर में ऐसे बात करना आई एम 100% श्योर ठीक है आई एम नॉट अ पेरेंट
इंडियन
येट
फैमिली में तो किसी के घर पे नहीं होगा अलाउड. आई एम
वही
सॉरी.
मैं पूछ रहा
ऐसे
हूँ क्रिस से वही तो मैं पूछ रहा हूँ
अरे
क्रिस
वो
से.
कौन सा आर्यन के साथ स्कूल गया है सर
आर्यन के साथ स्कूल जाने का जरूरत नहीं है. साउथ बॉम्बे का ही तो बंदा है.
Again, he's not South Bombay, but like itna to spoiled मैंने. I've actually seen richer families be much more conservative actually in a
the richer
weird
you are the
way.
more also like हमारे ग्रुप में सबसे सहमा हुआ सबसे नॉन उलझा हुआ ध्रुव है and he himself says that he's somewhat spoiled. So if our impression of a rich spoiled kid is very different because that's Dhruv for us.
I'm pretty sure Dhruv is also the exception.
Probably. I'm sure he's not, Dhruv, I hope you're not like doing the shit this guy's doing in the show.
I hope so.
I sincerely hope you aren't.
I sincerely hope not. But like
I
yeah, go ahead,
I mean,
because you had something
no,
to say.
I was just like, yeah, the thing is like, okay, there's so much of it that I find like really out of pocket as well. Like the whole Shomik bit, I thought was absolutely unnecessary.
Also,
I hate it.
Shomik is such a Bengali name for a guy whose surname is Talwar.
I thought the whole Rajat Bedi thing was like extremely annoying. I got very, very sick of that very, very early.
You know
But
what?
there's also
I just have to say this.
No,
When
no,
I was watching the
I
whole
kind of
Rajat Bedi bit,
understand the nostalgia. I kind of understand the nostalgia here. But हाँ, बोलो, तुम बोलो.
when Rajat Bedi
my
is sort
God.
of doing the whole no, we don't want to be like Bardwaj Rangan.
We don't
He's
want.
coming up with some terrible takes right now. I'm sorry, Debolina. We know you mean well, but Jay Arjun Singh, we can live with being Jay Arjun Singh. I think Jay is a good writer as well. Or Uday Bhatia, who writes spectacularly actually. Nandini Ramnath, anyone but Bardwaj basically. Or Mayank Shekhar, who basically looks like a 2020s Indira Gandhi. Anyway, where the hell was I?
Mayank Shekhar, if you're watching, I'm so sorry.
Rajat Bedi.
Yeah.
Rajat Bedi. When he showed up in that yellow tracksuit, no, I was immediately taken back because it is a visual cue for the Koi Mil
Kasoli
Gaya
Tigers?
basketball. Yeah,
Kasoli
and
Tigers? Yes.
no, and I was reminded of because I was listening to one of his bits of comedy the other day, Karunesh Talwar, talking about बच्चे कसौली टाइगर से हार रहे हैं क्योंकि बच्चे अभी बच्चे हैं और कसौली टाइगर 7-7 फुट के घोड़े हैं. And I remembered how wrong that competition just felt, right? एक side पे ऋतिक रोशन and assorted Chilgoze, and दूसरी side पे Rajat का baby and his entire gang of goons.
Hmm.
And who is organizing this basketball match? And over here also it's a mismatch, right? He's the bigger guy, and like there are a bunch of much smaller people in front of him. I get all that referencing, but like it needs to add up to something, which by the
No,
looks of
so
it is
It's
not.
by the time it ends, it doesn't add up to much. To be very fair.
No, I'm also saying that there's like minor stuff to me that I found really like just out of pocket. There's a bit, I think this is in the third or fourth episode, with
Yeah.
this like female set designer who
Oh God,
they
yeah.
make like
That's
Oh
fat
yeah,
so.
that was
jokes, and there's
bad.
like
That was
elephant this
bad.
thing. And
That
then
was
okay,
bad.
okay, fine. The Freddy character kicks her, fine. And then Laksh goes to beat him up and says, "मैं भी औरतों पर हाथ नहीं उठाता." I'm sorry, I consider that to be extremely out of pocket. That's
मैं भी
again
औरतों पे
my
हाथ नहीं उठाता. He's calling Manish Chaudhary an औरत.
yes.
What?
Saying he's
Yes.
a coward because he's like वो औरत पे और हाथ उठा रहा है तो he is a coward or whatever, तो मैं भी औरतों पर हाथ नहीं उठाता. And it's just extremely out of pocket in my personal opinion.
You know,
But
as a
I
guy who
genuinely
knows
felt,
braver women than he knows men, which
nah.
I
probably
genuinely
also
felt that
says a lot
entire
about the
gag.
quality of men I know.
I genuinely felt that entire gag was very completely stupid.
Was it
That's
supposed to
Yeah,
be a
I'm saying
takedown of
like
like
how
Sajid Khan kind of people? I don't know.
it was supposed to be a
it,
takedown of Sandeep Vanga.
but it ended up being the joke being on the
Yeah,
woman, which
on the
is like
woman's
very
table,
Yeah,
weird.
right?
And there's
yeah.
also like half the humor feels like it's out of 2017. They revealed
No,
the manager. One
एक
second.
हाथी
They
का
revealed
एक हाथी का trumpet in the background when she's talking like that shit, and I'm like,
huh.
uh,
And she's a plus
dude,
size, or she's like a larger woman, and then that's just like, and like there's also a thing of they reveal the
Anya
Laksh's
Singh's
manager
character.
to be like to be sapphic or a lesbian just to make a fucking LGTV joke. I am sorry, that is like that's a joke out of
Yeah,
like
that's
2017.
not even 2017 यार 2014 में हम लोग मार रहे थे ये joke. जब हाथ में बटन वाला फोन था.
Then
Ah.
again, Varun, you will have to admit to this, and I'm very sorry too.
Hmm.
I'm very very sorry. North Indians अभी भी ये joke मारते हैं, so it's okay. I can understand that this is kind of like
But you know, but
feels very
joke
much like some
No,
sort of
but
like
with the
but
people
amount
who
of
don't care.
जोक के रेलेवेंस
People,
की बात ही नहीं है. जोक फनी होना चाहिए. It has to land. It doesn't land. That is the problem. Because I've seen the bit
exactly.
that, and when
see,
did
my
we?
issue with Chris is my issue with
Acha,
Chris ka
I thought now
criticism is the
this is
no
going
no
to become
no no
Celeb 3.
no Salab 3. No, that's not what it is. My issue with
Amartya is
whatever
Bobby
subject
Deol.
is yeah,
This is
exactly.
Laksh.
Yeah, exactly. My issue with whatever criticism Chris is saying is that I agree with him, except for the fact that the gags don't land. I think the gags land just fine. In some cases, the gags land just fine. Again, it's also because mera expectation is more interested in an academic context because I was more like ये बंदा
Yeah.
जिसका बेटा है he is going into directing. I don't care whether he's co-directed or helped or directed whatever. इतना तो मार्केटिंग हो रहा है, इतना सब कुछ हो रहा है, कुछ तो है बंदे में, नहीं तो इतना मार्केटिंग क्यों कर रहा है? And I see that, and I saw in the show, and I'm like, see, when you see a newcomer direct something, there are a couple of things you will understand that a newcomer is directing. Number one, over editing.
Okay.
बहुत ओवर एडिटिंग करते हैं न्यूकमर्स, एक्सट्रीम फास्ट पेस, एक्सट्रीम ओवर एडिटिंग. इस शो में
बुड्ढे
ओवर
डायरेक्टर्स एडिट नहीं करते. That is the problem. बीच
that
का
is also
तो
a bigger
पकड़े ना
problem.
रास्ता.
That is a bigger problem. I was very pleased to see that even in conversational scenes वो over editing नहीं है. I was like,
Okay.
see, I can understand this. Number two, he stages action scenes quite well.
I
Which is-
heavily disagree on that. I thought the action was abysmal.
I see here I completely disagree with you, and I can definitely say कि मेरा judgment थोड़ा बहुत ठीक ठाक है on this part because I've seen enough of action scenes.
No, again, I am willing to. No, I am willing. I mean, I'm absolutely willing to say that I don't have as much knowledge or any kind of thing related to action.
Knowledge का scene नहीं है. You're forgetting. I have experience with the Bengali film industry. I know what bad action looks like.
No,
But
but
sir, then again,
No
you're doing
personal
the same problem
explanation.
from the other end, right? You are saying that
so
my
you can't solve
criticisms
it
are,
from the lower end of the spectrum. You have to
yeah, you
criticize
are
it
saying
from.
my
No, I'm
criticisms
not.
are
No,
unfounded
no,
because I am comparing to Om
I'm
Shanti
not saying your
Om.
criticisms are invalid. I'm not saying your criticisms are invalid.
Hmm.
I'm just saying कि मेरा disagreement on the action sequence being not staged well. I think that's a fundamental.
Okay.
That's a fundamental
I
disagreement.
think I'll be able to phrase what Amartya is saying slightly more coherently than he's doing at the moment. Basically, you're saying you've got your tolerance for bad action scenes is a lot better because you've seen a lot more bad action scenes.
It's not just tolerance. It's like I see objectively also you can understand what a bad action scene. For
Hmm.
fuck's sake, we have seen Pathan. For fuck's sake, we have seen
Hmm.
War 2.
Yeah.
We
No, we
know
have
what
not.
bad action. We have.
We have, you
We have.
haven't.
We have. So we have seen Brahmastra. We know what bad action scene looks like.
Hmm.
उसमें
This
एक्शन नहीं
isn't
था, यही
that.
तो प्रॉब्लम थी.
This isn't that. That's my whole
But
point.
sir, this not being that doesn't mean this is
हाँ.
inherently good, no.
I think आप recency bias पे जा रहे हो, Amartya, which is
That is
I
my
get that.
fundamental problem.
That
Is that,
recently
you
we
know,
just had bad action. What did I
yeah,
do?
the problem is that
उसका एंट्री क्या
you
है? एक सेकेंड. हाँ बोलो क्रिस, बोलो. I'm listening. बोलो.
what I'm saying is
आ
that
जाओ
we
बाबा,
are
आप
both
भी.
doing it from, the thing is, you are saying that, you know, I am sort of maybe misplaced in my criticisms because I'm looking at it from a better example. You're doing it from the other end. Like I came in you know, thinking that I'll despise this. I don't think it's particular. I didn't like it. I don't think it's particularly terrible. Like I think there is genuinely some interesting writing. There are some good gags. There are you know,
I never said that. I never said that कि आपका criticism like invalid है. I'm not saying that.
invalid name. I'm saying you're saying it's slightly misplaced, or maybe I'm like looking at it from a slightly, like, you know, uncharitable perspective.
because you led with the Bengali film industry, Amartya. I think what Chris is saying is that uh, his expectation and yours were completely different, and that's perhaps why
Yeah,
your
it's not even.
appreciation of the action is completely different.
Yeah, and then that's just because it's one of my phases. I think if I'm going to judge a director, who is supposedly going to deliver a quote unquote masala movie, right, Chris? Because that's exactly what he's doing, right? He's delivering a
Yes.
quote unquote masala movie. He's delivering multiple genres like everything.
So let's please not
Please
insult
not.
masala movies. Okay,
I'm not
that's a
insulting.
bit
I'm
much.
not insulting. I'm
वैसे भी नहीं
academically
बनती है
looking.
ढंग की मसाला मूवी आजकल.
वो तो नहीं बनती है, वो तो मुझे भी पता है. I am just saying that that's the academic achievement people are striving for, right? That they are trying to make a masala movie. That's exactly what it
Yes.
is. So you have to get your ingredients in order. Now, when you're going to strive for your ingredients to be perfect, perfection to reach नहीं होगा ना. But
Yeah,
I'm going to
obviously.
I'm going to see कितना दूर वो जा सकता है. That's what I'm seeing. And I have seen at least like jitna bhi I've seen at least even in Bollywood it's dog shit. Okay, my Bengali film industry ka comparison is too below the below par. I understand. So scratch that. I'm just saying even in Bollywood, even in blockbuster Bollywood movies, action scenes have been extremely badly staged.
Okay.
Very, very badly staged.
But I'm going to counter with some solid references that I can come up with, like straight up Agnipath, the new one, Karan Malhotra's film. I think that film is okay. It's also brutal.
It's
And
very
I think Sanjeet and I at some point had discussed that it's a film which should have probably brought about, just like Temple of Doom brought about a new PG rating in America, Agnipath should have given birth to a new rating system in India.
Yeah, मतलब adult से थोड़ा नीचे, but more or less.
बच्चों के लिए तो definitely नहीं. But
yeah,
Dawn 2 had some supremely slick action. Like it was the first time I felt like, you know, we can make a film and that is physical production wise at least on par with something that Hollywood can make, like with the car crashes, with the glowing stuff. So I think we've done good work in the past. It's just that we've been starved of it so much in the recent past, because I am also reaching back. I'm going to Jan of 2012.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think I'm not going to speak for you, Chris, but I'm also going. But I also think that it's like both of us have been starved for good content.
So I like his films that he directs. Acting और गायकी जब वो करता है ना,
तब issue है. No, but Chris, I think
wait a second. I just realized something. Perhaps by our appreciation of the film also of Bastards is also slightly not positive, I guess, is because the people who are in it are
Hmm.
also the same generation as us, so they should have probably
Hmm.
been doing better work
Probably be
in,
doing some better work.
yeah,
Yeah,
like,
that's exactly my
in
point, right?
relation
The
to
problem
the
is that
context of the show.
the show
Yeah.
is being marketed also as this breath of fresh air. Someone is bringing something new to the table. This is something that Bollywood hasn't had in a while, or it's
See the only
different from
thing.
what is here.
See the
Ramgarh ke
The
only
Sholay
thing
ki
thing.
that.
baat karo.
That is true. See, the only thing that it is bringing a breath of fresh air, and I think Chris will somewhat agree with me on this, कि at the very least, एक बंदा मिला है from this new generation who is at least not terrible.
Yes, 100%. I
Okay,
like
what I
Laksh. I
like.
mean, I'm not as cold on him as
Yeah.
Varun is. I actually like him. I
No,
think
I
Laksh
think
Arwan is.
he's a pretty adequate
Yeah,
presence. Like, you give me a Laksh and a Siddharth Malhotra, I'll pick a Laksh, obviously, because
yeah.
to
Yeah.
me the
No, so
acting is
You
still
give
more
me a
important.
you give me a Laksh and a Ahan Pandey, I would be like, this generation is still okay.
yeah,
That
true.
is my
Very true.
reaction. This
Very true.
generation is
Very
still
true.
okay.
चल जाएगा इनके साथ
चल
चल
जाएगा.
जाएगा.
And at this point,
No.
Bollywood का जो
Hmm.
हाल है at this point,
Hmm.
चल जाएगा is like a fucking miracle.
Sir, I know this better than literally anyone else because I watch literally everything that mainstream Hollywood puts out. Okay, the fact that I haven't watched Baghi 4 is nothing short of a miracle. Okay,
You watch Param
so that
Sundari also. The fact
I
that you have
watched Param
survived
Sundari
No,
that
in
I
is
the theater
insane.
so
on my birthday.
मैंने क्रिस की ये करतूत अपनी अपनी दोस्त को बताई जब जिससे मैं
हाँ.
मिलने गया था, and she was like, how can a Malayali go and watch that movie voluntarily, because she's Malayali.
I see.
Yeah.
This is a very good
Chris,
question, Chris.
you are clearly bleeding credibility all over the place.
I have never had credibility in the first place, so I have no problem.
But let's
मेरे को
let's
तो
I think
anyway fake मल्लू बना
No,
के
but I
चला
think
है.
I'm still not able to
see,
find who did the stunt, so I can't like find someone to assign blame to
Hmm.
or assign credit to, as it were. But I
नहीं.
want us to push forward because we are almost at an hour talking about the
No,
bastards.
I'm going to push forward somewhat क्योंकि मेरा जो कुछ positives है about the
हाँ,
show
आप बोलो.
is somewhat I think I very
The biggest
believable acting, very believable some acting
एक मैं
performances.
जोक कर लूं, आप फिर उसके बाद कर लेना.
हाँ कर दो.
I
मुझे
think
क्या
the
है?
biggest, the most significant positive of the show might be that Ajay Talwar is HIV positive, because clearly एक जगह तो रहता नहीं आदमी.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm speechless. I am legit speechless. Give
सर
me a
वो
minute.
लेबर यूनियन वाला इशू होगा सर. That's a
Give
Malayali
me a minute. Give me a minute. I'm still processing your joke. Give me a minute. Okay, positives.
Ayushmann should have played the character.
Yeah. Yikes. Okay, let's move on from this. No, I think I like the performances. I really loved Manoj Pawar in this.
Okay.
Really, I really loved him in this. I loved Raghav Juel in this. I think
Oh,
I
okay.
agree with Chris completely कि जो material दिया गया है is elevating that. 100% he's elevating that. Cameos में I really liked Imran Hashmi's cameo.
Right.
I also like the fact that again, I am a human being. I am not averse to being like hit by nostalgia, and the fact that somebody is this blatantly
Shocking.
praising, yeah, somebody is this blatantly like elevating
One
Imran
episode,
Hashmi,
sir. I'm here as the moderator.
elevating Imran Hashmi ka presence is like it feels nice at the very least.
He went from
Honestly.
serial kisser to actually becoming a cultural icon of some kind.
Cultural icon, which feels nice.
Murder
I
के
think
time
the
पे उसका वही हाल था. Serial kisser
हाँ,
became
exactly.
उससे आगे नहीं बढ़ पाया वो.
The converse is also true. I like the fact that I dislike the fact that
The serial not
Rajat
kisser.
Bedi. No. I dislike the fact that what Rajat Bedi was conceived as, that is basically like a reminder. Pehchana kya. He conveniently forgets that because then he becomes part of a ludicrous plot that doesn't go anywhere.
Right.
Which I'm like, what's the point then otherwise? मतलब क्या ही
Yeah.
कर रहे हो? It all builds up to a joke कि Shahrukh remembers everybody, इसलिए he also
Yes.
remembers who Rajat Bedi's character is. Nobody else
Rajat
remembers who
Bedi
he is.
actually was his stunt double at one point.
Yes, in
Yes,
duplicate.
yes. In
Wow,
duplicate,
okay.
yeah.
which is
So
only a year or two before Jani Dushman and Koi Mil Gaya, I think. So
yeah,
Yes.
his career peaked and ended quite early, quite
yeah,
bigly.
which is just sad. So it will be like, yeah, and
I mean,
I'm sorry, that's a good joke, bro.
honestly,
that's a very good joke.
he's genuinely charismatic. I don't know what people are lusting over like all these other people. And like, at least she's got, presence, Malika Sherawat. Like, what's the point of
Malika
it?
Sherawat is also funny.
Yeah, she is.
That's a good joke, bro.
She's also funny.
ये ना ध्रुव
No,
कभी कभी चीजें बोलता
Dhruv,
है कि मुझे लगता है ये आदमी नशे करके ही पिक्चर देख रहा होगा, फिर मैं ध्रुव से बात करता हूँ एंड देन ही सेज
sir,
मैं नशे नहीं करता हूँ, so I am just
sir,
with
see, Imran Hashmi's claim to fame will always be Hamari Adhuri Kahani is fundamentally a disjointed sentence. It cannot work.
it will
That,
always
In
be
your
murder.
book, dal do usme.
yeah.
Duplicate was 90s.
Duplicate
Okay.
was 96, na?
No, not 96. 97 or 98. फिर भी दिल है
97,
हिंदुस्तानी was
98.
98.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
You played as
Okay.
98.
doesn't matter. उसमें वो नीले बंदे का ज्यादा important role है.
Hmm.
Also, by the way, for some reason, his yellow jacket, while it did remind me of Kasoli Tigers or whatever, it also reminded me of Jadoo because Jadoo भी वो trench coat पहन के घूमता
Yes.
रहता है हर जगह ना, yellow trench coat,
Also,
which
I
is
think
probably inspired from it, knowing Rakesh Roshan.
E.T. E.T.
E.T. also, yeah.
Inspired by
Oh,
क्या?
no,
Rakesh Roshan है.
the jacket, the
jacket.
alien is E.T. The jacket is
Yeah.
it.
The
तो
jacket-
राकेश was दोनों वाल्स पकड़ूंगा मैं, E and I both.
हाँ. क्योंकि मेरे से अच्छा तो कोई कॉपी नहीं कर सकता. चलो ठीक.
Yeah.
And also, I think Mona Singh was tad bit wasted. क्या, Chris? You agree?
No, that's what I think the performances are great. Mona Singh is definitely wasted. I think particularly because, again, I'm going to make a small criticism, and through that I'm going to say something good about the show. Okay, I'm not trying to be a downer
No.
to the whole thing. But I think Mona Singh, the reason why they couldn't.
Okay, that's funny. That is really funny.
Also, another director who's giving interviews as though he is, 15
He's like
time
some
national
sort of a
award
relevant
winner.
director. Yeah, he's like some sort of a relevant
Yeah, he just
director.
made that Miranda Brothers movie, right? With Harshvardhan Rane and Milap Zaveri or whatever.
No,
No,
he
not
made
Zaveri,
he-
Jaffrey. Mizan
He
Jaffrey.
made
sorry.
he made a direct to Geo Cinema movie na with Fardeen Khan of all people.
No,
What
he
was it?
produced that.
Oh, it's a
He probably got like a cookie Gulati to direct it. I don't know.
I don't know, man. Anyway, Chris bolo.
Visport that was.
So the
Oh, yeah.
Mona Singh is quite good. I mean, I love Manoj Pawar, but I disliked that character quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I think the problem with Mona Singh is the reason why they couldn't flesh her out is because it would kind of like I did not see the twist coming. I can say that pretty openly. I didn't see it coming.
Me too. Same.
And
I
think
knew it
the
when he
reason why they
spilled the
couldn't-
drink and there was awkwardness.
Spill-
क्योंकि अफेयर तो
okay.
आदमी और आदमी में नहीं हो सकता एंड बच्चा तो उससे पैदा नहीं होगा. अफेयर हो सकता है, बच्चा नहीं हो सकता.
Okay.
So
Anyway.
the thing is, I think the reason why they couldn't use Mona Singh much was because they were going for a shock value for the twist. Like they were trying not. I felt like they were actively trying not to foreshadow it too much, which is
But
again
that's
for me a
counterproductive if you use
That's
her
very
well.
counterproductive, na.
And
It
you
is.
make them
That's
into-
again. That's a problem. That is a criticism I have of the show. That
Right.
by not like foreshadowing it, it ends up cheapening, making the
You
twist
know,
feel cheap, even though it's quite. I would say it's quite earned. It
You know,
makes
in
a quite
general,
earned
you know,
twist
it's a
feel
general
cheap.
criticism. It's a general criticism, Chris. Because this wouldn't have been a problem if this was a movie.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a runtime issue here.
Absolutely.
I mean, in a movie, you just cut out a lot of the stuff.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
guys,
absolutely.
Anya Singh has garnered some praise. She's of course from Kaidi band, Kho Gaye Hum
She
Kahan
was
or
in
So
Kho
Gaye
Gaye
Hum
Hum
Kahan, and
Yeah.
Ji Karda,
Ji Karda.
and also Never Kiss Your Best Friend or something like that.
I don't
Some show
remember
like that, which is
I
based off a
don't know.
Durjoy Datta novel. So I obviously have not watched it. I'm
We are not going to watch.
allergic. I'm severely allergic to all these Chetan Bhagat
Knockoffs.
spawns, knockoffs,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call them, respawned Chetan Bhagats. But yeah, how was Anya Singh? I thought she was quite good, but then
She was
decent.
She was good. She was good.
I
Because-
don't think she has much of a role. That's again another problem. I think again, I think again the show is a little bit unfocused, so not really a lot of characters get fleshed out. I feel, despite the length of the show, like Laksh is a pretty one-note character.
He is.
If you see it, well, he's caring. He cares about his family. He's romantic, and he's an actor. He's a star, and he's a bit brash. Like
See,
that's about it. Like I
oh,
can make
see,
a short list of descriptors, and he's
yeah,
done.
yeah. See, Chris, I'm not like disagreeing with you. I think it's a fundamental issue with a show like this.
Yeah.
A show which is supposed to be quote unquote a masala movie, but it's not forced to become a show, but it is essentially like a 7-hour movie. A TV show ideally is supposed to give your
Yeah.
characters depth, right?
5
But a
acts structure
7
in one episode that it does not follow, like most Indian streaming shows.
and it's like an Indian blockbuster type TV show is supposed to give you, according to the creators, the vibe of watching a masala movie. And in a
Yeah.
quote unquote masala movie, fundamentally your depth is going to go just this much.
Yeah.
It's not going to go
Absolutely.
any deeper, which is like a fundamental TV show movie.
So-
But you know,
dissonance.
that's the problem in how we perceive streaming shows also. When
Which
we
is why
started
Jubilee
making them in
works.
India, when we
Which is
started
why
making them in
Jubilee
India,
works. Which is why Jubilee
exactly. So I'm
works.
coming to that. When we started
Yeah.
making streaming shows in India, we started with Sacred Games,
Hmm.
which is, if you've seen the book, it's a bloody big book. First of all, it's
Yeah,
like
I have read the book.
900. I've also read the book, 960
Yeah.
odd pages, whatever.
964, yeah.
Right? Very heavily promoted as a writer's medium kind of project. Like the first press con that they did was, of course, with the 3 actors and Eric Bamak and Kelly Luganbile from Netflix and Vikram Motwani and Anurag Kashyap and Vikram Chandra. But like Chandra was front and center. He was talking about the adaptation work that Smita Singh, Vasant Nathwar and Grover were doing. You have something like Jubilee. You have a Patal Lok. Sudeep Sharma is. How many interviews have you seen of Avinash Arun and Prosit Roy about Patal Lok? The interviews are by Sudeep Sharma. He did Kora as well. The interviews
Yes.
were by him. Unfortunately, we've got this misconception that it's very important to platform directors, but TV is a writer's medium. It has always been a writer's medium. Directors have that format that is cinema. In India, unfortunately, cinema is used to platform actors. So, and now Hrithik Roshan will bring the two together, I guess, in Krish 4.
I suppose. No, but I think Chris,
yeah.
Chris, what was the issue here? Ki wo depth can he, because there aren't very much roles, or it's like, and
There's
I
also
think,
too many roles, right? If you're going to
Yeah.
have
I
like
think again वो expectation का issue हमेशा आ ही जाता है, right? मेरा expectation at the end of the day वही था, right? Because I'm like,
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting anything out of this, believe you me.
Sir, but
I
that's the
literally
same
wasn't.
thing, right? I was
Yeah.
also not, again, I went in expecting to hate it. Okay, that is the expectations I went in with. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, my fundamental problem becomes that the show is trying to be, or at constantly, I feel at every level, two things which it cannot reconcile. It's trying to be irreverent and it's trying to be plotty at the same time. It's trying to be.
देखो,
It's trying
वो issue even I agree.
It's trying to be a show, but it's using a movie formula. I feel like that's for me. Like, I think Aryan Khan is an interesting writer. I think his direction just doesn't live up to even what I like limited about his writing. And like, for example, again, the sense of humor, it's trying to be like the amount of no homo and dick jokes. It's just not my thing. I don't find it funny from any, especially the amount of queer humor, the way queer humor is used so dismissively. It's not my thing. So,
Sir, we didn't go to NYC. We have nothing to do with USC. Sorry.
but
USC
it's
स्लैंडर का आ
also
गया.
try.
क्यों आएगा? उसके लिए
वो है ना
NYU
USC
ग्रेजुएट
का.
चाहिए.
No, वो USC ग्रेजुएट है ना.
नहीं,
Aryan
but
Khan, हाँ.
but
नहीं,
for
उसके
somebody
लिए
to
NYU graduate
उसके लिए
चाहिए in
NYU
this
graduate
live stream.
चाहिए. True.
In this
या
live
फिर
stream.
I've forgotten where Sanjeev went to university, but like that university.
Yeah.
So
Also.
yeah, it's got this really
Lodz Film
dismissive.
School. I don't know. Did you go to Lodz, Sanjeev? I'm not sure. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting. But yeah, Chris, go
Anyway,
on.
continue. Sorry,
Getting
Chris,
derailed
go on.
here. Really.
So
Sorry.
it's trying to reconcile this kind of really what do you call dismissive or whatever kind of humor, while also trying to be kind of like what do you call, younger, more progressive kind of a show which
Yeah.
critiques nepotism or whatever it is, trying to do this kind of a thing. So for me, the fundamental problem is that it's always a clash of two forces that do not go together, and it
Mhm.
never manages to reconcile, which is why I just can't with the film, with the show
See,
essentially.
see, I
I'll
will
come
tell
in
you.
on the homo
uh,
no homo
हाँ,
jokes thing.
मैं
I also
मैं
found
मैं
it.
थोड़ा मैं थोड़ा खत्म कर दूं, फिर
हाँ, आप कर लो,
तू
आप कर लो, आप
फिर तू ये खत्म करके we can move to Loka.
We
And we
can
I
can
move on.
move
think we
on.
have
Yeah.
talked
Yeah,
about enough at this point.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
Yes.
I think, see, the issue you're talking about, Chris, is an issue which I see in almost most long form television. Two
Hmm.
Hmm.
completely separate strata of genres trying to
Yeah.
intermingle and coexist.
Yeah.
That is always going to be an issue. It's very hard to do.
Hmm.
इसीलिए I am not surprised, but I am also not exactly disappointed कि वो
Okay.
intermingling हो नहीं रहा है, because वो
Hmm.
इशू हमेशा से है, वो इशू हमेशा
Hmm.
हमेशा से रहेगा.
Hmm.
स्टूडियो का भी सेम इशू, स्टूडियो का भी एक इशू है ऑन द
Hmm.
ऑपोजिट स्पेक्ट्रम, यहाँ पे एक इशू है ऑन द ऑपोजिट स्पेक्ट्रम.
Right.
सेकेंड हाफ में
Hmm.
नैरेटिव ज्यादा हो रहा है,
Yeah.
Hmm.
which is why the jokes aren't landing at all. Like वो film first
Hmm.
का joke is becoming completely saddled over because the narrative is taking over.
Yeah, that film first
Yes.
felt more like the. I don't know if you guys used to follow stand-up comedy back in the day,
Hmm.
early 2010s or mid 2010s. Film
Yeah. Yeah.
Fail, Ghanta. It felt all like all those.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it
But
felt
no,
like
on
an
the
AIB. It felt like an AIB joke.
like a
That's the
very
thing.
bad AIB joke. AIB
Very,
was
very
bad.
bad AIB joke. Yeah.
But what I felt about the no homo stuff especially was, and it's odd because everybody is like, um, l- the sort of oddness of it, if you want to call it that, is that I'm a straight dude. Technically, those jokes
Hmm.
are marketed towards my ilk.
Hmm.
Except I abandoned my 14-year-old sense of humor at the age of 14.
Hmm.
I have, now we make
I
pretty.
understand.
Hmm.
Swapnil, I think that's a harsh take on AIB. They were pretty clutter breaking for their time.
For
Um,
Yeah.
their time, yes.
For their
Today's
time. Yeah. Of
audience
course.
prefers Samay Raina, who's not very funny. So I'm not going to get into that.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, let's not.
but yeah, so I think that the problem therein is that it's that thing of yaar mereko, I want to make it seem like they are a very sort of, they are two guy friends who are very comfortable with each other, but they are
Hmm.
also not sleeping with each other, and I
Hmm.
really need you to know that.
Hmm.
I mean, why? How? Why do you need to tell me that through this sort of
Exactly.
it's almost like having to make the same clarifications that you have to make about having female friends as a guy, that no, I'm not sleeping with them, which is
Which is why
unfortunately a
I
common
got
excuse.
really
Yeah.
mad when Pulkit Kochar made a tweet comparing the joke, the humor in this to Kal Ho Na Ho, which is
Yeah,
like, I think, a fundamental misunderstanding of why Kal Ho Na Ho's queer humor is so
they
unfathomably
lean
hilarious.
into it in that film.
They, Shah Rukh is aware of it the entire time, and he
Yeah, and
just
Saif is a
plays
space
into it.
cadet.
So, yeah, and even after,
Dude, to be a banker in New York, I suppose you have to. Right?
I'm saying
I
even
mean,
after
true.
Saif
Yeah.
True.
even after Saif finds out about it in the movie, he doesn't shy away from it. There is no in that, like, I love in Mahibe, there's that section where they both of
With
them dance
that, they
together,
dance, yeah.
and then the gay, very gay designer jumps on top of Kantaben, and that's after
Yeah.
the whole shtick has happened
Yeah.
of Satisha's character confronting Saif about their friendship or
Yeah.
whatever. So
Relationship,
I
or the
feel
nature of
like
the relationship. Yeah.
nature of their relationship. So that's my fundamental problem. That,
I
again,
get
you
it.
can
Yeah.
say it's a taste thing, but I just
No,
don't.
it's
I
not a taste
find
thing.
that humor to be quite tasteless,
No,
and
but
I
also,
like,
also,
that's why I said.
I just
at
want
the-
to, I just want to break. I don't want to break a bubble or something like that. ठीक है? I just want to say
Hmm.
one thing. कि, like, I can understand and even I agree somewhat कि वो मेरा taste quote unquote नहीं है, but what Swapnil is saying right now, I did not see
Hmm.
the comment, but thanks Swapnil for this. I can definitely say this. There are a lot of people, even including in my generation here, कि there are friends like these. To be very
Yeah.
fair,
Yeah.
Lakshan Raghav का जो scenes
हाँ
है
सर
and
वो
all that
दोस्ती की
stuff.
बात है ही नहीं ना, वो
Yeah,
जोक्स की
Sir,
बात
those
है.
मना
friends.
किसने किया है, sir?
No,
I
no,
am not
no, no.
disagreeing with that at all.
No, I'm just saying कि So that friendship scene is there, and then when people catch them, right?
Hmm.
Wo explanation being this sloppy or this half-assed
Hmm.
is also something that these guys do. That's
I
all I'm
know.
saying.
But it can be
That's all I'm
better.
saying.
It can. It need
Sir,
not
half-ass
be.
को और
No,
कितना
no, no.
better
But
करोगे?
no.
I'm
But
just saying.
I think where I agree with Chris is that it's almost like it's going on the defensive. अरे अरे हम gay नहीं है.
Hmm.
You know, it shouldn't be like that. It's like अरे होता तो मतलब भाई तुझको मैं इतना प्यार दिखाता ना तू मानता नहीं or something like that. It should
Didn't
not
they
punch.
say something like that
It
in the
doesn't.
hospital
No,
scene?
Mona Singh says it. Mona
Yeah,
Singh
she
says
says
क्यों
it.
नहीं because मेरे को दाढ़ी
Ah,
वाली बहू और कासमी देगी. That is a very different thing for Mona Singh to say it versus for this kind of. And again, I felt like then to compensate for that, they do the Anya Singh thing, which never comes up again.
Yeah,
It is
it's like
never
she has no.
relevant. It never comes up
I
again.
would have liked it if her and Lakshya's character had been competing for Seher Bamba's affection at some point. Maybe that's a
Exactly.
great
Some
conflict to
sir, वो कुछ भी but do something
exactly,
with
yeah.
it. No,
So
it feels so
I think also
tokenizing.
because the
Hmm.
sorry, Chris, finish.
No, I'm just saying it feels so tokenizing because
Hmm.
clearly you've put it in for that kind. That's what I'm saying. You
Yeah,
don't know humor on one end, and then you do this. Oh, how are you? How could you be
you,
homophobic?
you know,
He
it's
gives
like,
that whole क्यों
it's
का
like,
मतलब क्या होता है, which the Raghav Juyal gives that bit. You
you,
can't
you,
reconcile these two things.
it's like, if you're going to do something like that, I think it would be preferable if you don't do anything like that at all.
don't
It's
touch
like
it.
literally don't reference only.
Absolutely.
It's
See,
like don't
because
reference
Which
only.
no, it's because it's also sensitive topic still. क्या rights है गे लोगों के पास हमारे देश में नहीं है rights. तो फिर to hit almost to punch down on a section of society is really unfair, especially
hmm,
when what is their public voice, how much are they allowed to say. Onir tried to make some movie. I think he made a movie also that got
hmm,
scrapped because the censor board took objection to a government servant being gay, as though government
hmm,
servant sort of
As the government servants
it's
cannot be
some sort
gay.
of immunity from being gay, like it's like a special shield you get or whatever.
ऑफिस में घुस जाओ सेक्सुअलिटी शील्ड हो जाता है.
So it's
hmm,
and
Yeah.
I think also because guy friendships have progressed beyond the, or at least that's how I think of them.
hmm,
There is a phase of अरे हाँ we are so tight, but
hmm,
अरे yuck this one छी.
hmm.
So that is the sort of
Yeah.
positive also, but also very much the homophobic context of
Hmm,
being a teenager, at least in the mid
hmm,
2010s. And abhi it
Hmm.
lapses into in your mid 20s, because
hmm,
I'm officially now closer to 30 than I am to 20. In your mid
hmm.
20s it lapses into
कैसा
this.
लग रहा है बुढ़ा होने में बता.
सर बहुत बहुत तंगी हो रही है, मतलब आज
Very
ही
good.
मैंने अपना शोल्डर को कुछ कर दिया है तो
Very good.
so um, I, it becomes this indifference where you are very aware of the fact that it is indifference. Like I had a
Hmm.
friend, my oldest friend, I called him up on his birthday and I was like, what's up? He's like, I'm in a really bad space, dude, and whatever. And I was like, okay, let me know
Hmm.
when you're standing at the edge of a ledge. And
Hmm.
I put the phone down, happy birthday bolkar. It becomes that, which is also a very
Hmm.
dangerous sort of space to be.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
the show had the ability to go to some very interesting places. Like, how does he not know about these shady friends Parvez has if they are so tight? आज तक नहीं मिला.
Exactly.
आज तक मैं अपने दोस्तों के इतने घटिया घटिया दोस्तों से मिल चुका हूं आफ्टर नोइंग दीज पीपल फॉर लाइक अ कपल ऑफ मंथ्स.
Hmm.
दिस फ्रेंडशिप इज क्लियरली ओल्डर.
Hmm.
So
वही
it's
ना. Now you're getting sir 32 34 नहीं. And again I think see I am taking more offense on the fact that he got the number wrong. Okay, let's get back. No, again, now we are getting into one of the narrative issues, like basic writing issues. This is
Hmm.
basic writing issues, right? Which
yeah, yeah.
we objectively speaking we all agree.
Hmm.
but
Basic
but
writing
the
issues तो
thing is
100%
that the escapes that he's getting, no, कि पहली बार है.
Hmm.
ऐसा नहीं है कि जब तुम्हारे पास फैसिलिटी है, जब तुम शाहरुख खान के बेटे हो, जब तुम जा सकते हो, जब अक्षत वर्मा तुम्हारे शो पर एग्जीक्यूटिव प्रोड्यूसर है, जब तुम
Hmm.
अपने पिताजी को स्क्रिप्ट दिखा सकते हो कि बाबूजी बताओ कैसा लिखा है मैंने, एंड योर फादर
बाबूजी.
कैन टेल यू whatever he calls him, पापा, बाबूजी,
Hmm.
अब्बा.
Why do you make it sound like it's a DDLJ का skit,
DDLJ,
बाबूजी?
it's
Yeah.
deliberate. So
Hmm.
I did want to address one thing that I think Devolina asked about, why Aryan was not in the promotions. I think because in the last few years we've seen this frontlining of star kids in
Yeah.
promotions, and then if they're bad they get battered. Oh
Yes.
my
Hmm.
god,
Which
जो
was entire.
पिटते हैं वो लोग.
Ouch. Ouch. Ouch.
Sir, लेकिन बाबूजी जवान हैं. So I got the
जवान है,
name of I
इसलिए
got the
इसलिए
name of that
नेशनल अवार्ड
movie
मिला
right.
है. इसलिए
I
नेशनल अवार्ड मिला है, जवान है.
in 2 years this is probably the third time I've gotten the name of that movie right. I keep calling it Balwan.
सर अभी गलवान का सोचो, बलवान को भूल जाओ.
So हाँ. I तो thought that if you know if a better director than Apurva Lakhia had been making that movie, they could have called it Galwan ke Balwan, like you know the heroes of Galwan, something like that. No, this fucker can't get that
Varun, I
right.
know you.
Anyway,
Varun, I
yeah,
know
so
you're
no,
the
no, no, no.
host.
Yeah,
I know you're the host. I know you're the host, but quick.
हाँ,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
लोका के बारे में बात करते हैं.
So
Yes.
my thing is that if when you have all those things, if you get battered by the press, if you're bad at it, he's already had the press hound him over that entire drugs thing.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah.
lashing out at Sameer Wankhede, good, you got your shot in and all that. Also, kind of lazy government officer cannot hit back without central government sanction. So,
सर उतना तो
उसके
सोचा ही
पास
नहीं.
हाँ, no,
उतना तो
whatever.
सोचा ही नहीं.
Fair enough. No, he gets that shot, right? I suppose if he
Yeah.
feels aggrieved. And it just feels like these guys are so front and center in a lot of this stuff that it's almost like an insulation to not let him promote it. Because if you see the one media appearance that he's had with the trailer launch, he was very affable. उसकी हिंदी माशाअल्लाह थी. मैंने बोला ये इब्राहिम अली खान वगैरह के साथ स्कूल गया है, लेकिन इसको तो हिंदी आ रही है. इन बाकियों को नहीं, इसकी बहन को नहीं आ रही थी हिंदी.
I have the only problem though was that शाहरुख ने उसको डायलॉग डिलीवरी करना सिखाया, तो वो आधा टाइम बोल नहीं रहा.
वो शाहरुख बन रहा था.
वो शाहरुख बन रहा है.
हाँ,
वो basically
but
शाहरुख
like
बन रहा है.
I thought that interaction had a great joke where he pinned his lines to Shahrukh's back and he said "Papa hai backup ke liye." I said what a great PJ this is. Oh yeah, I forgot to ask you guys because we didn't talk about her at all. How was Seher Bamba? Because she has debuted with a Deol under the direction of a Deol.
Could be replaced with a cardboard cutout and no difference would be
Which is
made,
so
if I'm
sad
being
because she's
entirely
really
honest.
good in that
which is quite sad because I agree with Chris because role भी ज़्यादा कुछ है नहीं. But potential है.
She's not bad by
no,
any.
And she's
bad.
good in that. She's good in that Habib Faisal show, which is an adaptation of Anuja Chauhan's novel "Those Pricey Thakur Girls." She was quite good. She was very affable in that, opposite Akshay Oberoi. And that was, of course, a COVID release.
She has potential. I'm telling you, this generation is fine. I think Chris will agree. Okay, this generation is fine. This generation is fine.
If they give the opportunities to the right actors.
And I also think
Sunny Sanskari ki Tulsi Kumari.
The generation is fine. I think the landscape is the problem.
Yeah.
Again, I feel like if Aryan Khan had made this in a different landscape of Bollywood, I think again the fact that it's a Netflix production means the entire thing.
Good Lord.
Is that supposed to be innuendo?
No, that's a movie.
No, I know that, but Pal Pal Dil Ke Paas is directed by Sunny Deol. But usme jo action hai, is Sanjeev going for innuendo or is he going for actual action?
No, actual action.
Actual action, okay. I thought, okay, you're getting too high on the sex scenes from a Karan Deol movie.
This is Sanjeev essentially doing what he should have done in the live stream. That is his customary. Oi.
Why did you turn Sunny Deol into somebody who's got, a pin stuck in their ass?
Why ass? Gala mein bhi to ho sakta hai. What is this overly sexualization? Kya hai?
Actual action only. Okay, thank you for the clarification. But yeah, Seher Bamba, sorry, Chris, you were saying something.
So I was saying that if Aryan Khan had made this in a different Bollywood atmosphere, like for example, this being a Netflix production, it looks fugly. Like the colors, it looks so bad. I was thinking of Jewel Thief, the heist begins the entire time. It looks so tacky through and through.
Please respect the movie. It's Siddharth Anand's Jewel Thief. The hunt begins.
It's not directed by.
Yes, Cookie Gulati.
Cookie Gulati and Robbie Grewal.
Masterclass directors.
So the thing is, I think if the atmosphere was different, if this wasn't a post-COVID, post-Vanga, Netflix, OTT scenario,
God,
I think
we're describing Bollywood as a post-Vanga world.
I'm sorry, but that's a fact.
I'm sorry, but it's true. Unfortunately,
it's absolutely true. So I think there could have been really interesting things coming out of this generation. The fact that it's managing to make half decent things despite all of that, is a sign of hope that things can
Yeah.
possibly change and good things can possibly come out of this
Yeah.
generation. Because despite the fact that I didn't like Sayara, both the performances are pretty good.
Okay.
Despite the fact that this show has got its problems, I think most of the performances are pretty great across
Right.
the board.
Okay.
Even for characters I don't like for example, Manoj Pawar's character I don't like, I still think his
Yeah.
performance is great. So
Drunk
that
Chacha is
is
a bit
my
old.
Drunk Chacha. Drunk Chacha is trope. That's exactly what it is. Trope.
Yeah, but it's an old trope, is what I'm saying.
yeah,
सर न्यू
that and
ट्रोप
with
बनाने
the
के लिए सर न्यू ट्रोप बनाने के लिए इससे ज्यादा क्रिएटिविटी चाहिए which is not there yet.
exactly.
But
So
that's
like hope
yeah.
है, but hopeless situation है नहीं.
Hopeless situation है
लेकिन
नहीं which yeah
लेकिन I think we can expect better.
Right,
Is
fair
just
enough.
my spiel on the whole thing. Yeah.
I think because Dhruv said post COVID equals post Vanga, I'm like, yeah, पहले Bollywood को COVID हुआ, उसके बाद उनको Vanga हुआ. Like,
the fact that we are
You're
quantifying
saying it
manga
like
as a
it's an
disease says something.
it is a
You're
disease.
saying it's like an STI.
It could be. It could
No,
be.
but
you don't know.
manga. But I want
Sleep
no,
with a fuckboy and you've got a case of Vanga.
Oh boy. Chalo, can we go? Can we move on to something that is far
let's
more
move on
pleasant?
to
Actually, something
let's move
I want to gush about, please.
Yes,
I'm
so-
done being bitter.
bitterness हो गया है, कड़वाहट कम हो चुकी है. Lokah Chapter 1,
Yes.
Chandra 2025, starring Samantha.
No, that's
Samantha?
Kalyani Priyadarshan.
Kalyani Priyadarshan. What Samantha?
I am complete. No, I did that deliberately because that's what like first.
सर
of
मैं
all, people were
एलियन अर्थ का एपिसोड 6 में हूँ ठीक है
like- also
शो फक ऑल है आई एम सॉरी
I completely agree with Sanjeet's comment on the fact that Bastards is shot by Jay Uza and I'm speechless because what the fuck. Anyway, so Lokah.
Yes.
Guys, go ahead.
So,
This is your
no.
your
So
thing.
yes, it
No,
is.
I was just reading Swapnil's ka message and I'm like, okay, I did not need that image in my head, but ठीक है. Continue.
Now I need
Yes,
to know what
so-
image this is.
Yeah.
Lokah Chapter 1 Chandra, which is directed by why did I forget the
Dominic
director's
Arun.
name? That is
Dominic.
yes,
Arun.
Dominic Arun, starring Kalyani Priyadarshan, Naslin.
Naslin. Is it Naslin or
Nas-
Naslin?
It's Naslin. Naslin,
Okay, thank
Dulquer Salman, Tovino Thomas. Then who else is there in it? There is Salim Kumar's son, whose name I'm forgetting. I will find that. There
Chandu
is
Salim Kumar.
Chandu Salim Kumar, Arun Kurian, Sandy Master as the villain, and it's supposed to be the first entry
First
into
of a
this
five-parter.
five-part series, which is pulling very much from very classical Kerala folklore, which which I was not aware of because again I've not grown up in Kerala, but my parents were telling me while the movie was going on that these are myths that they have grown up with. These are stories
This is
that
so
they
terrible. You're not even a Sundari.
I'm not even a.
I
I'm
think
not
she
even
should
a
be proud of
Petta
that.
Sundari.
I think
Chuna
she should
lagaya
be
hua
proud of that.
Sundari.
I think she should be proud of that.
Oh, so Dulquer's not in the movie. He's just produced it.
He's a
He's a
he has a
cameo.
cameo in the movie.
Okay. Does
But
that
he's
set?
produced.
Okay.
He's supposed
Please
to
do.
have a movie
Please
in
do.
this series.
Wait, you are going to bitch about this? You did not
Why
like
are you
this?
going to bitch about it? I have
Please, we
only
need
good things to
divergence
say
of
about it.
views.
हाँ संजीत आजा
So,
आजा,
Dhruv
Aja.
sir.
So,
अनुमति दीजिए पिक्सेल बाबा को स्ट्रीम एंटर करने की.
पिक्सेल बाबा को क्या अनुमति दे वो तो मेन
Because
होस्ट
permission, technical permission तो हैंडल कर रहा है ना ध्रुव अभी.
बैकएंड
पे. Technical गुरुजी. Anyway, sorry. Another
Anyways.
YouTuber more famous than Queen is dead.
So that's everybody.
more is a
So that's everybody.
More is a relative term.
understatement.
That's everybody. ठीक है. आप chill करो.
So, it's very much based on classical Kerala folklore, and it follows.
Kalyan, what is it called? I think some Neeli something.
Neeli,
ना?
Neeli.
वो पहुंचेगा
Neeli.
सर. अब उसको उसकी गाड़ी स्टेशन से तो निकलने दो.
हाँ.
हाँ, क्रिस बोलो.
So, it follows Kalyani Priyadarshan playing Chandra, who is so essentially there are these three big characters or three big mythological figures, which is Chatan, Yakshi, and I'm forgetting the third one, which is what Dulquer plays. And Tovino plays a Chatan, and Yakshi is essentially a vampire. So it's the Kerala folklore version of a
Chatan is
vampire.
a goblin, right? If I'm not mistaken, that's
Chatan
the
is a
concept.
goblin equivalent, and I'm forgetting what the other one is. I'm blanking on that, but it's an Odeon. So there's an Odeon, Chatan, and Yakshi. These are the three which these three play.
Right.
And the film sort of follows Kalyani Priyadarshan as this, like, again, it sort of places this mythological character or folklore character actually into a classic sort of superhero template. So or at least the sort of style that it goes for. And I I was very very impressed by it. I'm going to say straight up, just because
Yeah.
like Kerala, like the Malayalam industry has always made really good films, but I think the output in the last couple of years, especially whatever people call the Malayalam new wave or however you want to describe it, has been like genuinely quiet, because again it's on a 30 crore budget. Again, to
Mhm.
remind the audience, Brahmastra was made on what, like a 400 crore budget. This is 30
Yeah.
crores
Yeah.
with a good mix of practical effects and VFX. Like
Okay.
you can see that they're using like a good mix of like sets and
Mhm.
and like using VFX only to augment instead of like essentially make it feel like a
On the
created world
Yeah.
a la Western superhero sort of films.
So I'm just going to
Um,
quickly come in there, Chris, if I
yeah,
may.
yeah,
Uh,
yes.
Sir,
Sanjeev, I
आपको
thought you
Come,
were going to
that
join.
exactly,
sir,
exactly.
that
Join
movie
karo.
is called Bade Miya
Bade Miyan
Chote
Chote
Miya, not
Miyan, which we
Brahmastra.
kept
Yeah.
calling BCMC for some reason.
आप join karo,
Um,
Sanjeev. At least we can talk
no,
about
but
Okay.
Ishanchi if you join.
Yes.
I interrupted Chris is because Sanjeet, in fact, on an earlier stream talked about this. Kerala film industry is able to keep its costs low
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it also
absolutely.
probably pays people low. And
Yes.
It
that
pays
doesn't just
people.
mean
Yes.
like it's not like Dulquer Salman is getting like less money. Of course he is,
Hmm.
but it is possible your BTL people are also getting less money than
Yes.
the others are.
No, I
I mean,
think it's also the fact that other actors का जो बाकी सारा जो costs है, which are like astronomical at this point, those
yes.
aren't getting considered only, like entourage costs and all that stuff.
That too should be absorbed by the actor anyway. But I'm just
Yeah.
making a case for I because I'm not aware, and I'd be happy if Chris could shed some light on
Hmm.
it or knew of it, whether people the daily wages as they are of the Malayalam
Hmm.
film industry are paid decently, and if that helps
I
keeps
mean,
budget.
the thing that from
Ah,
what I
Baba.
know, hi sir,
It's
hello,
like
hello,
Yes, bro.
that moment,
Papa, hello,
Baba,
क्या हाल चाल?
Johnny Lever,
backstage.
Baba, in All the Best, which
Why don't I see
Dhruv,
Dhruv
I'm sure
in
like
back?
you don't
Dhruv
see
is
him.
in the back end.
I don't see him.
वो है
Okay,
sir.
wait, I'm joining in a second. You guys continue. I
Okay,
don't want to
okay.
interrupt.
So
Ah.
from what I know, again, very limited knowledge. The
Yeah.
thing is that the Kerala film industry is very heavily unionized, so that is
Yeah, yeah.
definitely there.
Yeah,
Of
yeah,
course,
yeah.
yeah.
But I just think it's a difference of producing in. I think they're paid, from what I know. Like there is a lot of like campaigning for better, and whatever corrective action towards better wages and everything.
Yeah.
But it's again a difference between Bombay prices from a
That's
Bollywood
true. Yeah,
production
yeah.
in. It's like, again, when you talk about in the US, you talk about a film producing a film in California, in Hollywood, versus producing it in other places in the country, right?
Yeah.
You can have your technical cost, all of these things start costing a lot less, even if you're
Yeah.
paying your wages pretty decently. So that is from my limited understanding how it sort of
Hmm.
functions. Karan Johar had an interview with Suthin Mehrotra recently, where he was just talking about that it is just for that same movie, if you were to make it as is, it will cost 200 crores, 100 200 crores to produce it in Bombay than it would in Kerala, in exactly the same
Hmm.
circumstances and everything. So that is definitely there. I'm just saying that, but it's still
No.
astonishing.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I just wanted a
Yeah, yeah.
sort of reasonable understanding of how like
Again,
finance would
don't
work.
take my word on it. This is from my very
Okay.
limited understanding of the whole scenario.
We have somebody
We have financial
working in
expert
an
on black
industry.
money
Yes.
from the Financial Task Force of
Yes.
India.
Yeah,
And
I will hand
Yes,
it over
exactly.
to him. Yes.
Senior
Yes,
Commissioner
please.
Mr. Sanjeet
Senior
Singh.
Commissioner Mr. Sanjeet Singh, yes.
Commissioner, what is the commissioner logic?
Financial Task Force. आप ही black money allegations बना रहे हो यहाँ पर.
I'm sure होगा. No, but Malayalam cinema in general doesn't pay like they say they pay people well, but like they don't. Like I've had friends who've assisted in camera teams and
Okay.
they've gotten paid like almost nothing on a day-to-day basis. Like it is almost, how do I say, almost 3x what you'll get on a daily beta in
Oh,
Bombay.
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
and that's a fair amount of price in Bombay, according to me. That's like really good prices if you're assisting as a camera.
And if you're not living at Holiday Inn, it's a mommy 2023 joke.
Is really old. Yeah, like you've also aged also anyway. That's
So
fine.
old that mommy is not happening this year.
Mami is not happening
Anyway,
only this year. I was looking forward to you guys bitching
There's
about it.
no Dhruv snark reaction to
yeah,
that. I'm
no,
surprised.
none. Sorry, we've completely derailed Chris from talking about.
Uh,
Yeah, but you
Malayalam.
at least have good folklore to talk about, unlike Amartya, who only has Gudiya and Sui. So
Sir, that is Bollywood ka interpretation. Sir, we have lots of good folklore. आप इतना भी बंगाली को
weapons is
मत करो.
basically a Bengali movie.
आप हमें इतना भी मत बख्शो, ठीक है?
Sorry, Chris.
We already do that enough to ourselves. आप हम लोगों पे मत
Moving
करो.
on
That's
from
all
the
we are
Bengali
saying.
masterpiece that is weapons. Hey, I've been fairly sensible on the stream. Calm down. Bad.
Oh God.
Chris.
Anyway,
हाँ,
so
हाँ,
yes,
चलो.
yes. So Chandra's character is pulled from what is called the Kalyangata Neeli, which is the R equivalent of a vampire character. So
Okay.
in the film, they have a whole section where they give her proper backstory in the sort of, oh, there was a king and there was, there were these children who went into a temple that they weren't supposed to go to, and they were all persecuted for it, and she sort of so the only difference is that fundamentally is that our understanding of vampire is someone who is someone who is a marginalized person,
Huh.
whereas the Western understanding of a vampire is an aristocratic figure. So
Right,
this
right.
vampire works much better as
I
a
thought it was a
superhero
sparkly
character.
teenager, but continue. I thought it was a sparkly teenager, but continue. Sorry,
That is
I had
someone
to crack
else's.
that joke.
That's a Mormon fantasy. Okay, sir, we are not talking about. We're not talking about Kerala mythology, like folklore traditions. But she's so her the idea of a yakshi, of a vampire in the Kerala folklore fits much better into a superhero template, because she's supposed to be someone who was marginalized, who is marginalized, who fights for the marginalized.
Yes.
So that is the sort of thing that they go with, and so you've got this story where there is this so she keeps obviously having to move around standard sort of vampire sort of story, and she meets Naslin, who is a neighbor there, who obviously instantly sort of falls in love with her, and there is a very corrupt, I feel a little bit almost over exaggerated for the general tone of the film, the cop who is like an extreme misogynist, who again makes like very sexist remarks, and
So
he yeah, but
Varun coming in with a cab, basically.
yes, this is what they can feel. But yeah, so he gets also through circumstances turned into a vampire, so it becomes a fight between the two of them, between justice and injustice, and again vigilante justice versus institutional injustice in a sort of way. And I was thoroughly impressed with the film, especially because I think, first of all, I think as is the strength of the Malayalam industry, it is incredibly well written. I think the writing is always something that shines through in sort of Malayalam filmmaking. How like direction and all, I think we do quite well. But I think the way that they've integrated the folklore into a sort of modern setting, I still think it's got like fundamental structural issues where it's sort of flashback is too long, and it's sort of punctuated in a sort of odd way with Vijay Raghavan's sort of, what do you call, telling of the story to his granddaughter, I think. And but it's got, I think, some great gags. I think Naslin and Chandu Salim Kumar work extremely well as sort of comedic sort of sidekicks to what Chandra's sort of seriousness. And I think in a sense I compare this closest, it's a very odd comparison, but I think I can compare the closest to something like Stree, where Kalyani Priyadarshan essentially gets to play the Shraddha Kapoor equivalent of being this sort of stoic character who doesn't say a lot, but she's still given this sort of centrality of the story with Naslin and
Much better
Chanu
actor.
Sunam Kumar. Obviously much better actor, which is very funny because I hated Kalyani Priyadarshan's previous performance in a horrendous movie called Varshangal Kashesham, directed by
Vinit Srinivasan.
yes, Vinit
Srinivasan.
Srinivasan, starring Dhyan Srinivasan and that horrible actor named Pranav Mohanlal.
Your favorite actor.
Jesus, Chris.
Junior Barrows.
I'm sorry. I that film is essentially a rip-off of one of my favorite Mohanlal films, so I'm going to be very salty about it.
He's such a mediocre product.
You like a Mohanlal film?
I
a
love
big
old
Mohanlal fan.
Mohanlal, man.
He loves
I love-
Mohanlal films pre-2000. Post-2000
Pre
hates all of them.
2006/7. There's like
No, but
Udayananataram, which is a remake, which the Varshangal Kashesham is a remake of, is in my opinion the last good, like genuinely good moment in Mohanlal's career, and the last 20 years have been utter trash. Sorry, Varun. Go.
Chris is just like for Pranav Mohanlal or Pranay Mohanlal or whatever it is
Pranav Mohanlal.
so severe that he's going to rename the guy to Pranav Sohan Hara or whatever. Just change the guy's name. Like no relevance to his idol.
I mean, I don't like contemporary Mohanlal either, so I don't mind them being in the same.
You didn't like Barrows or whatever the hell
Barrows.
You know the
Barrows.
Pranav Mohanlal movie which I don't like.
You
Hridayam.
like
Again,
one
I've
of
only
them?
seen. Then again, I have only seen 2 of his movies, so it's like theek hai.
Hridayam.
Hridayam. I don't like that movie.
He has a 50%
Yeah,
hit rate with Amartya. That means a lot.
That's
He's
a
basically
great
an Oscar
fact,
winner.
yaar. Honestly, I think that's more than what Sean Connery would have in Amartya's book.
Swapnil L2, I really don't
More
like
than what Sean
L2.
Connery deserves.
Sean Connery कहाँ से आ गया भाई? ये
कुछ
कहाँ है?
तोड़ एक्टर तो था नहीं वो, ठीक है, आराम से बैठो. ऐसे बात कर रहे
Sir, he was a
थे
good James Bond.
Peter
Very good
O'Toole,
James Bond.
Richard Harris, इन सब
Sir,
की
he
तरह
was a
था
good
वो.
James Bond.
He was a good James Bond, yeah, whatever.
No, he's done like 2-3 really good films. What is it, Brian De Palma movie? The Intouchables?
The Untouchables.
Intouchables अलग चीज है.
That's the French one, no?
He's
French
really
one.
bad at that. Okay, that
Sir,
movie is also.
अच्छा, Lokah. We are
yeah, let's
diverting.
not
Chris,
go.
Anyways,
Shit, no
so
David.
my sort of
Look at me,
हाँ,
sorry.
बोलो आप बोलो.
my sort of take on the film is that I thought it was, I think I've got some issues. I think the climax is not, I think the set that they chose for the climax is not very good, so the gravitas that it requires doesn't really stand. And I still think, again, the structure has got some issues, but I still think it's for the budget and for the sort of coming out of the Malayalam industry. I just think it's a really good first step, and I'm really happy that it's gotten such incredible such positive reception from the audience. I love Tovino Thomas is like an all-time favorite of mine, so he's also very, very fun in this film, so I'm very happy to see him. I'm just scared about Dulquer because I'm not sold on Dulquer as an actor after his first couple of films. I've really not enjoyed most of his performances.
Really?
Yeah, that I love him in Ustad Hotel and Bangalore Days. After that, I'm very hit or miss on him.
Okay.
But sir,
Dhruv.
मैं आपके माथे पे आधा स्टार स्कार्फ करूं?
You are quoting violence at this point.
But
I'm serious. You know what I said the last one time before? Balki has done something to Dhruv. That is why Dhruv has such a problem with that movie.
Balki and now Nadaniya. These are the two things that have fundamentally reshaped.
Like Dhruv says, Dhruv is so Gandhian. Otherwise, उसको कहीं Balki मिल गया ना ऐसी लात मारेगा.
उसके पहले he had Free Guy.
उसके पहले ही है
Sean Levi. Yeah.
जिसका Star Wars movie आ रहा है. Fun times. Anyway, continue.
Star Wars movie?
हाँ,
Star
sidetrack
Fighter,
हो रहे हैं हम फिर से.
Sorry.
Who else is weighing? Is Chris done dissing Dulquer?
Yeah, I am done dissing Dulquer. The
Okay.
point is just that I'm very excited. I think if Dominic Arun and the co-writer, again, whose name I'm forgetting, if they are given yes, Santi Balakrishnan, I think if they are not sort of taken in by the success of this, and they
Bala
have a
Chandra.
vision for what is going ahead,
Yeah.
I think this could actually be something really, really interesting.
Okay.
Because again, it is what Brahmastra wanted to be, just 500 times better.
सर आप सब तो मैं टोकन फेमिनिस्ट बैठा हूँ बस यहाँ पर पता है मैं
See,
Sir,
वही
I
ऐसे
like.
मत बोलो.
See,
I've
वही
already gotten
fulfillment है मेरी on
cancelled
this
one for being
random
essentially being
see,
an
I
MRA.
like the
ठीक है,
fact,
माफ
I
कर दो
like
मुझे.
the fact that Dhruv is more funnier when he's not on screen. I like this.
Exactly.
Dhruv has a
Frustrated when he's on screen.
voice. Dhruv has a voice for radio and a face for TV, and a face for radio and a voice for
Voice for TV.
newspapers.
Uh, yes, yeah, but that's my two
So
bits
should
on
we
that.
go with the Babaji of the lot? No, but Sanjeet,
Who
first
wants to bitch?
you have to reveal to our viewers what is your nickname, because you were discussing nicknames very heatedly the other day. North Indian nicknames. You have to have a North Indian nickname. You don't have a North Indian nickname
What is the North Indian nickname?
like Bunty, Rocky,
Bablu.
Thankfully,
Sanju.
my parents are. Sanju, you can call.
not Sunny. It's right there.
I think it's too much on the nose. More on the bicep, actually.
Too much on the 2.5 kilo ka haath. So yeah, Sanjeet, why did you want to come and bitch about Lokah?
No, bitch. More than bitch, I just see it's a good thing. Actually, it is doing good money because
Okay.
you know when films do more money, more films get made and all that.
You
crap.
also get employment.
Yes,
Exactly.
that is more important.
That is the most
That
important
is
thing. At
that is the
moment.
only thing that is important.
Exactly my point. I
See,
think
I like you being called the evil Lona Prince. I like this.
no,
Sanjeet
please
Rozgar Yojana.
don't insult me.
Ouch.
He's never going to watch this anyway. For someone who's an adopted son for like Malayalam cinema, he doesn't know a lot about Malayalam cinema. Just to be
Oh, he's
really
the dude who was in that Ronak Mangutil.
I watched the whole thing, but like the whole reference to him being like the adopted son, just because he's watched the last 6 years, 7 years में Malayalam films doesn't mean you're like the
सर
adopted
adopted son of हिंदी सिनेमा तो हमारे जेमी पेंस भी है सर उसको भी ज्यादा कुछ पता नहीं है आप
Sir, उसकी बात
we are not.
son.
We had said we would not do all this on a live stream. We would do it on podcast where Dhruv could cut it out.
Cut it out.
But who's going to listen to this anyway? The point is,
क्या
Some of those
मस्त
people are
चीज है।
narcissists. Some of those people are narcissists. They'll have AI models that monitor videos for their names.
yeah. Then in that case, hi dudes.
Hello dudes, you suck balls.
Now you guys sound like those perverts from Hindi movies who used to go, "Hi babes."
Hey,
You
dude.
know, there was a
Hey dude.
good-looking girl.
Hey man.
Man.
My basic gripe with Lokah in
Yeah.
general is
Huh.
when people are saying, it's 30 crores and they're showing, it's like, I'm saying it looks also 30 crores to me. Doesn't look more expensive.
Ouch.
I mean, no, for real. Like, sure, they
No,
must have.
किसने बना? I 100% agree.
निशांची
I
का
had
वो
no
कट्टा
disagreement
निकाल
with
दिया.
that at all. 30 करोड़ की पिक्चर है, 30 करोड़ की पिक्चर
No,
लगती
Chris,
है.
I'm not like, it's not a dig at you, but I'm just saying in general,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
people come at, saying, oh, they did it in 30 crores, you must have not paid 50 people for that also, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
They don't pay people that well either.
Right.
That's point one. Point two is half the time the costs are shown in a different way to tell people, we did this much, and like sometimes they'll inflate or sometimes they'll show like lesser amount. Oh, cynical. Third
This
point
is like
is
this.
it doesn't look as like if you look at the houses, the interior of the houses, it looks cheap as fuck.
The
Okay.
They're
neon
really
lighting.
cheap.
The
They're
neon
not-
blue
Yeah.
lighting. Yeah, the blue lighting. basically.
the production designer Bangalan, who's gotten all the praise, like props to him for getting all the praise, but I don't find it good looking on screen.
Okay.
I've
That's
seen
fine, huh?
many other Malayalam movies which have done a far better job.
Right.
I'm not sure about the costs and all that, but that's not the point. The point is
Yeah.
there have been better films which have looked better and probably lesser amount of money. That's what I'm trying to say. So
Yeah.
people who are saying they've done, okay, I will not say that it's an outright bad film. It's not a bad film at all. It has a
Right.
lot of merits to it. Sure,
Okay.
like some of them have already been pointed by Chris. It's a good
Hmm.
start to this thing, but I think then I am just being a bitch about it that I don't rate films that are just first parters.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
yeah.
tell me the
Sir,
whole
you are
story.
not
This
a
is not
bitch
a
about
film
it.
for me.
Sir, you are not a bitch about it. That's a
I
pretty reasonable
really
take.
now I really
This is
don't
not
want
a film
Sanjeev to
then
look
for me.
at my letterbox entry for Gangs of Wasseypur 1 and
Huh?
2 after that.
No, but see, the thing is, good part is I watched one and two together. It didn't
Ah,
happen that I watched one and then two happened.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's another case as a whole, and that is like
It is
what
also
10
one
years
film.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, in general,
It
it's a
is
whole story.
technically a
This
one
is
film only. Yeah.
Loka is not a one story that they're trying to tell over three films. It's just like
Yes.
it's a project.
Yeah.
That is my gripe with this. It's a
Okay.
project. When films become projects, like how sort of Kingdom also became. I mean, I don't know who's watched it amongst you all. The
Yeah.
Vijay
I
Deverakonda
tried.
film.
I tried.
You I
Emphasis
feel
on tried.
the filmmaking that's employed in that movie is really good. But
Yes.
Hmm.
again, the
Gotham
gimmick of
Tinori is a
that,
good director. Gotham
he,
Tinori is a
he,
good
he
director.
really has like a good skill set of
Yeah.
knowing how to direct, where to put the camera, how to get a certain
Hmm.
emotion. Like
Hmm.
it's
Yeah.
very economical in that sense. I will do this one scene and it should explain what people would do in like 5 scenes. You
Hmm.
know, it's not lazy, it's very efficient, but the pacing is slow. So I'm just saying
Yeah.
it works as a whole thing. But the whole gimmick of the part one thing, I am not on board with that at all.
Sir,
Okay.
Don't give
wo
That
me
gimmick, sir,
films
wo
that are
no,
gimmick,
that
projects.
gimmick is in everywhere at this point. It's like
no, I also think so that there's a slight difference in the sense that I think that particularly at least the Malayalam audience is quite forgiving of it is because this is not a thing in Kerala, right?
See,
We don't
Malayalam,
do this
one
kind
second,
of
I'm
thing.
sorry to interject.
Huh.
Malayalam
No,
audiences
no.
are also forgiving of a film like Officer on Duty, which was
which is bad.
genuinely
Chris, I'm sorry. It's
filmmaking wise a
awful.
bad
Why
film.
does it
But
sound like the DSP equivalent of movies? Like
It kind of is
yes,
that.
of DSP is it okay? Officer's choice. You don't drink, so
It,
okay.
it kind of is that.
But
Varun, I understood immediately.
it's
It kind of is that.
it's
It's
a
an OC. It's
Alcoholic
not,
recognizes alcoholic.
yeah, it's an OC. It's not
no,
even an
I'm
OC.
saying,
It's an IB. That's
see,
exactly what
that's
it
the
is.
thing. When people come at saying, Malayalam cinema this amazing, they have their fair share of really
Yeah,
poorly
yes.
you'll
made
not.
films as well.
Yeah,
Oh, 100%.
like you'll never hear
Again,
about
so
shit
I know,
films in
Chris,
Germany.
you're quite aware
That's all
about
I'm
it. I'm
saying.
just saying, I'm
huh.
talking the larger idea of,
Broader, yeah.
in
So
broader
sir,
sense, what is
that's the
put
Who
out
don't
in.
watch it as their
yeah, yeah.
primary film?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the fundamental again, that's a difference, right?
Hmm.
My appreciation for Loka comes from my understanding, again very limited compared to like my parents or whoever, understanding of
Yeah.
the Malayalam film industry, my very aware knowledge of the trash that the industry is capable of making. I just bitched about a trash film that came by a very reputed, quote unquote reputed director. But I'm saying in the context of all of that, when franchise building and superheroes are the new norm, which is inevitable to come into every sort of industry in different ways.
Hmm.
In Bollywood, you can say that's your whatever YRF spy universe stuff. In
No, I
whatever
would say the
context you look,
Maddock thing
you
is
look at the
probably
Maddox
appropriate. Yeah.
this thing universe. I think what Dominic Arun and what Dulquer Salman have done is, I think, the best possible, in my personal opinion, the best possible outcome of those very sort of stilted or very like not very great from first principles sort of scenario. And in
Okay.
that sense, for me,
Fair
Loka
enough.
is a well-made film. I
Hmm.
am also extremely skeptical of what is going to be ahead because that is genuinely a problem. Like
Can
I
I
don't know
interject?
if they have. Ha, bolo sir.
नहीं नहीं आप खत्म कर दो फिर मैं बोलता हूँ आप खत्म करो
Huh. So my point is, I don't know if the director and the writers have an idea. Like again, my fear is that, like you said, Sanjeev, there is a project. I don't know if they have a vision ahead, which could be a huge problem. Again, I'm not really sure. I can't make a larger judgment on what this whole thing is going to be till more films come out. But
Hmm.
on its own, I thoroughly enjoyed my time with Loka, and I just believe that if the stars align and if it goes on the right way, it could be something really interesting that the Malayalam industry hasn't seen before. That's
Hmm.
my
Fair enough.
take.
Achha,
Amartya?
so the thing about this is कि if I'm going to compare this with superhero movies, I'm not going to go too high on the horse
Hmm.
here. I'm going to compare it with a Malayalam superhero movie, which is Minnan movie.
Minnal Murali, yes.
If I'm
Correct.
going
I
to
mean, that's a great benchmark for me in terms of what great superhero
hmm,
film works for
could
me
be
personally.
works for you, yeah, works for you.
Hmm.
Because if you look at it from the Malayalam film context, Minnal Murli and Loka has a similar proclivity in that lesson on the superheroics, focus more on the world. Now the
Hmm.
difference between Minnal Murli and Loka is the fact that Loka ka fantasy world ka world building needs much more effort
Hmm.
than say a
Hmm.
Minlan Murlika world, which is much more rooted and much more grounded, with supernatural or fantastical elements slowly and steadily sprinkled in.
Hmm.
So that's the main difference between this between Minlan Murli and the Loka. I think what I liked about Loka is the fact that कि जो world building का effort है through the animation
Hmm.
or through the flashback sequence or जो भी हो, I think
Hmm.
those section and the fact that he's essentially subverting a known Malayalam folklore into
Hmm.
vigilantism, essentially, right?
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
what he's doing in a way. Like Mera jo
Hmm.
limited knowledge hai, Chris. You can correct me if
Hmm.
I'm being
No, no,
mistaken.
correct. No, yeah.
Yeah. So what he's doing here, mm, okay. So what he's doing here at this point, I genuinely admire.
Yeah.
At
Hmm.
least in the world building aspect, I 100% agree with Chris ki and Sanjeet ki some of the staging and some of the production design, it does look cheap.
Hmm.
It really does. I
Hmm.
can't like disagree with that at all. But again,
Hmm.
it's also the fact that for 30 crores, yeah, like Swapnil just said, Minlan Murli was made with 25 crores. I think what we are
Hmm.
distinguishing here is the fact that Minlan Murli knows what his limitation is and structures a
Hmm.
story on that.
Yeah.
The bigger quote unquote issue is the ambition for Loka,
Hmm.
but with a limited budget. Everybody wants to be Godzilla -1.
Hmm.
Everybody wants to make a like a high end budgetary special effects movie with limited special effects, not counting the fact
Hmm.
कि Godzilla -1 में special VFX artist को payment ज़्यादा नहीं मिलते थे. That's the
Hmm.
major issue here, which Sanjit is also pointing out in this scenario, that
Mm.
BTL
Yes.
people aren't getting paid much. So that's
Hmm.
always an issue that's going to take place. Having said all that, what I did not like mainly about the movie is once the setup is out of the way and the superhero universe creation is going on, it falls into
Hmm.
some of the traps. Is now we are going to introduce one chunk of this universe, then we are going
Yeah.
to introduce one chunk of this universe. So we are
Yes.
going to introduce the
Hmm.
Chatta, the Goblin. Then we are going to
Hmm.
introduce. Then we
Chata.
are
Yeah.
going to. Then we are
It's
going
like
to.
it's like roll call.
It's like roll call
Hmm.
essentially. It was a
Yes.
problem that was in Street 2 as well. So
Hmm.
Hmm.
you get
Sir,
that
don't
Yes.
talk
segment.
about that
100%.
movie. Don't talk about that movie.
Sir, you understand
Hmm.
recency bias क्या कर सकते हैं. But so even even with all that scenario, and
Yeah.
of course the cameos, like Dulkar's cameo doesn't work. It's a nothing
Hmm.
cameo. Literally it's
Hmm.
a nothing cameo. There is nothing in that.
But sir,
It's like
these
Shakal
things
Dikhani Thi ka
these things
cameo.
help movies. Abhi, what are we going to do?
Yeah, I
हैं ये
understand that.
चीजें
I
important
understand.
सिनेमा
So
में.
Again, extreme example of that is Mammootty as Muton. Like that is exactly वो एक word बोलने के लिए so that the audience knows, oh इसमें Mammootty है and वो शायद आएगा future में.
हाँ,
That is very much like Dulkar's cameo in Loka.
Okay.
yeah.
No, but
So,
I don't think if it's an actual cameo, no, that's fine.
Hmm.
If it turns into an overextended special appearance, which is basically a supporting role, then is where I believe you can have that
yeah.
quality.
But even for overextended special appearance, until you get a post-credit scene featuring Dulkar, the sequence in the midst of the scene is
Hmm.
nothing. It's not even a
Hmm.
cameo. It's blink and you miss. It's a
Hmm.
nothing.
Yeah, but
Mainly.
the thing is that his name as a producer is not going to attract people. But if you say cameo है, then दो चार और
Maybe.
लोग आ जाएंगे पिक्चर देखने.
Hmm.
वो एक
See,
at least general idea
I'm
होता है.
just judging it purely on the
Hmm.
fact that it's quote unquote like perfectly serviceable superhero movie that is coming out of the Indian space, which mind you is
Which
a
has potential then, yeah. Fair
yeah,
enough.
Hmm.
it's a rarity, and there is somewhat of a potential here. One of my
Hmm.
friends who is like a comic book geek did say कि this does the Morbius ka flight sequence far better than Morbius did, and I'm like, that's more or less high praise considering Morbius was a shit show made on a high budget,
Hmm.
and this is like a moderately average thing made on a much more modest budget. So if you
Hmm.
consider that Loka's, like basically Chandra's flying sequence is essentially taken from Morbius, but it's kind
Right.
of done far better. It's a debatable thing कि मैंने Morbius देखा है इसलिए people can judge me all they want, but it's
मैंने भी
fine.
देखा है sir, of course.
So there you go. So both of us have seen that shit movie. So क्या ही कर सकते हैं at this point.
Okay.
Hmm.
But, yeah.
हाँ.
But
So-
again, I truly believe that it's a first step in a larger world, but qualms are still there because that part oneification of it all and selling of a universe without having a vision, because I don't buy into any of these interviews that these guys have a vision. I genuinely don't. We have been burned too much at this
हाँ,
point. ठीक है?
वो तो
Yeah,
हाँ.
yeah.
We've been burned too much at this point. So वो सब मत छोड़ो, but this is a more or less a moderately decent step. I'm okay with it. It's not some sort of a masterpiece की like देखो ये
Yeah.
सब देखो massive good thing. But I'm glad that it's making money. At the very
That's
least, there
why,
is a
sir, no.
potential there.
I'm just
of course,
separating.
any film
No.
that makes money at the end of the day is great only. I mean, even Kashmir Files would have like opened up some jobs for some people at the very least.
And Bengal
Like,
Files lost those jobs, so it's.
That's another thing. That's a joke
But
in itself.
let's. Yeah, Chris, last word.
Yeah,
on
just
it.
the last thing I was saying, that here also I'm doing a sort of separation. I'm separating the film
Yeah.
itself from the franchise building stuff. I still think it's a well-made film despite having some structural issues, which I can also absolutely agree.
I don't think
Okay,
it's
that's a disagreement.
well-made.
I think it uses its limitations pretty interestingly. Again, you can compare it to
But then
Mingan
one
Murli and
second,
have
how
its.
do you justify a cop like Gowda? First of all, he's a Tamil speaking Bangalore born
Bangalorean.
Kannadiga. Why does he have Gowda? Nothing is explained. So you put 25 scenes
Sir,
of the same guy giving me the same information.
निमहंस के आसपास
That's what
रहते
I'm
हैं ऐसे
trying to
बहुत सारे
say.
लोग.
Huh?
Yeah.
निमहंस के आसपास बहुत लोग हैं. Genuinely, I'm not making this up. Who speak Tamil almost as a first language because they are Kannadigas otherwise, but they speak Tamil almost as first language because that's
No,
what
I'm saying
majority
then
of the
make a
people
Tamil
are.
character only, no?
Okay,
properly.
fair enough.
I'm
All
saying
Understandable.
Also,
The multiculturalism of it does not come across.
I'm just saying you
coherently.
give me, when you're taking 25 scenes to build up a certain character, give me something more about the character. I have learned not
That's
much
fine.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I'm trying to say about
And the
filmmaking.
multiculturalism, I think we are pretty discerning enough कि कहाँ पे multiculturalism is organic and कहाँ पे multiculturalism is planned. This is
Yes.
planned.
Okay,
100%,
fair
That's the
enough.
bigger
yeah.
issue.
All right.
Yeah, that's the bigger issue.
Shall we?
Yeah.
That's my
Shall we
point.
wrap up and move on?
Yeah, just that's what I was trying to say was like
Yeah.
when you're trying to make a film and you're saying, I'm not putting it on Chris, but I'm just saying when people are I'm saying what is the filmmaker doing with the material at hand? At the end of the day, when you look at all the pieces in the puzzle, it doesn't sort of work. Not
Yeah, that's
everything fits. That's what I'm
Correct.
trying to say.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to bring down the whole energy of the film.
No,
Let
no,
it make more money.
No,
At the end
no,
of the day,
no,
I'm
no.
very happy that somebody will
And
give
it's a
something.
film, and it's a film that works more than it doesn't. That's more
Yes,
or less the credit of the
absolutely.
film. Yeah.
But I'm just saying the merits that it's trying to put itself out there for, I don't think it really works on all like ticks
Those.
all the check boxes or whatever. But yeah, let's
Okay.
move on.
Yeah.
Nishan.
Yeah, that's fine.
So Nishanchi is of course Anurag Kashyap's new film. He makes about 23 movies at one time, so it's very difficult to keep track. But ironically, this stars a Thackeray, who are a family known for being rather obnoxious about the Marathi language in a Hindi movie. And there's not one, but two of the same Thackeray, Aishwari or Aishwarya.
Ouch.
Whatever you want to call him. Aishwarya is usually the pronunciation. The A would make it a girl, presumably. Vedika Pinto is in the film. Vineet Kumar Singh is in the film. Monica Pamar is in the film. Kumud Mishra, of course, is in the film. Aarti Bajaj is back editing for Kashyap after, I think, she did Dobara, but she's also been missing a fair bit also
Yeah.
in the middle. I don't know whether it's an improvement. Usually she cuts his films best. But I think
there is
Amartya
a
and
fair
Sanjeev
amount
have
of
something to say.
I think
discussion that we can have. Also has the same issue of the part oneism.
the part oneism is a major issue here.
But I mean, okay, let's just address that at the top. Anurag Kashyap has always been an overindulgent filmmaker. The excesses are visible, I would argue, in all his films except Black Friday and Ugly. Those are the tightest, most taut films. Everything else is excessive.
I'm saying in those films, and I've seen almost all of his films
You have,
more than 2 times at the very least.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm saying those indulgences, I'm talking until Manmarzia. Okay, post that is a different version of
So
Kashyap.
post that would be choked dobara onwards, or
Ha,
including Manmarziyan.
no,
Okay,
excluding Murzi, until
excluding.
2018
Right.
September release. Okay,
Okay.
I'm saying before that, whatever is happening in terms of indulgences, like the scenes that take place for the character, they work for the context. Like because
हाँ
the
सर फेवरेट ही तो है हाँ कंटिन्यू
because
संजीत
the characters are going through a certain rut in their lives as well. Like
Yeah.
things become cyclical, and in
yes
that cyclicalness, that exhaustion that happens to the character is also happening for the audiences. So
Right.
even though sometimes it is counterproductive, you'll be like, "Arey, why are you like
Hmm.
the same repetitiveness?" But then it becomes like the whole interaction with the character for me.
Okay.
Then it becomes an interactive medium for me.
Hmm.
Okay, and then it also does the whole contrast with like different characters. What is the character? And then something like Raman Raghav 2.0. You know,
Yeah.
you keep on telling me something more about the character with
Yeah.
every different scene. You know,
Hmm.
and what is the progression of the character and how is that certain character also descending into madness.
yeah
So I feel those worked till then. Choke, I don't know if it has that much of indulgence per se,
Hmm.
but something like
almost प्यार is
Dobara to
definitely
is
indulgent
Dobara to is so plot heavy. I
Hmm.
don't know if it has something working on those lines.
No, I want to say Mukkabaz is indulgent. It's my favorite
Sure.
Kashyap
But
film,
then
but
you
yeah.
you have scenes like where this guy's going around and looking for his wife.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, okay, that is justified.
Hmm.
You have to show that person's angst, yearning.
Dhruv, you didn't like Chhawa or what?
So
क्यों फंस
those
रहा
were
है
Nishanchi here, and
Yeah.
I don't know how much Amartya will agree to that, but here, when you're revealing more about the character, I don't know if I needed to see everything to
Okay.
establish what the character was to reach that point.
I agree simply because it. I agree simply because if Kashyap had followed our advices, the movie would have been shorter. I agree
Of
simply because
course,
of that.
he'll
Arey, but he
follow.
didn't show you a working cut, no?
Sir,
Uh,
working cut और final
I
cut में कोई difference नहीं है in this
I was just,
in
I
this
mean,
movie.
I was
So,
just thinking about who the double role reminded me of, and I was immediately reminded of Karate Mani and Jimmy from Vasan Bala's Mard
Oh
Ko
yeah,
Dark Nahi Hota,
yes.
and I was like,
yeah. It's a
suddenly there's a glut of almost if it happens
I think
twice,
what works in this movie,
it's too
Sanjeev,
much.
and I don't know, Sanjeev, I think will agree with me more than the
Hmm.
fact that I don't know whether it works coherently as a whole, but there are so many minor little moments that
Yeah.
like separate it from the
I
rest of the
agree.
overall pack,
I agree.
rest of
I agree.
everything else that
Hmm.
it like there are so many minor moments. The fact that he goes to the guard in the beginning and there is an extended conversation, like
Yeah.
people were commenting about that. That is hilarious. That is funny
Correct.
as hell.
Correct. I completely agree.
The fact that a bank heist begins with a guy going and eating a puri,
Hmm.
that's how
Yeah.
it starts. So
Correct.
I understand what he's trying to do. Or the
Hmm.
fact there is one beautiful scene I really liked.
Yeah.
Monica Panwar and Vinit Kumar Singh, they are lying in bed, and to
Oh,
show their intimacy,
perfect.
perfect scene. To show their intimacy, Monica Panwar's hand is just below his ganji.
Hmm.
That's
Correct.
it. That's the
Yeah.
only scene. It is perfect. I'm like, see, these are the things
Correct. That's
that
the
makes
film.
this movie stand out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Utterly.
intimacy is always about gestures. It's not about the rambunctiousness of
Which
sex.
Kashyap completely understands, which is what makes this movie tick.
Hmm.
Which is what makes this movie tick always, most of
Okay.
the
Also,
time, majority of the time.
great
Bolo.
Kanpur, this thing,
Ah, yes, we
representation.
do
He's
have
done it
we
really
do
well.
have a Kanpuria in the
Kanpuria.
house.
He's done it really well. Okay,
Yeah.
but it definitely whatever he's shown for 2006 wasn't there in 2006.
2006
Like
में
clearly,
Sanjeet has walked out of the hall. पापा क्या मस्त पिक्चर थी धूम 2 and सामने से डैंग डैंग.
for 2006 it really doesn't look like 2006 with all the boards, the showing where to take the directions and all that.
Yeah,
Wala.
yeah. Oh,
It
that तो
wasn't
is
there
terrible,
that
sir.
very,
वो
and
तो
it's like
मतलब
one of the
हैदर में
opening.
कितना है वो. Swift Desire है in
Correct.
95 कश्मीर में.
This may be Alto
हाँ,
episode,
true, true,
short
true.
में.
Alto है, Alto है.
Also, हाँ, at that
Like
time
the
actually
newer
Zen
version
used
of
to be the
Alto.
big
Yeah,
Zen
yeah,
used to be
yeah.
the big car.
So
Yeah,
my
yeah,
point is, I don't want to diss this film at all because again it's not a bad film per se.
But
Bad
I
It's
think
तो
not,
है ही
Amartya
नहीं.
called it greatest hits or something of Kashyap, right?
It is a
which is a
greatest
great
hits.
definition. Which is a
Yeah.
great
It is a
definition.
greatest hits.
I feel on paper, theoretically, this film is fucking fantastic. I'm sorry for the word usage. Sorry, Dhruv. But the
हाँ,
point is,
क्योंकि मैं हूँ यहाँ पे, ये सॉरी बोल रहा है, आई एम यूजिंग इट द मोस्ट लिबरली, और ये सॉरी बोल रहा है. अच्छा बोलो.
no, on paper, in theory, this film का जो theorem है, जो philosophy है, it's
Yeah.
all perfect. It works very well because the actions are sort of very defined. The story-wise, it defines the journey of the characters. So I'm like, it works. But I'm saying, for second half, you need to be more imaginative. The way you're trying to portray the
Greatest hits मतलब it brings forth the derivativeness also, which comes from making a greatest hits. वो
So
derivativeness
I'm like,
noticeable है.
you can when first of all, I'm like, I didn't need to see everything from 2003 to explain what's happening in 2000. Okay, so for a little bit of context,
You give us
happens in
context.
2006.
Okay.
Okay, 2006 Kanpur goes back to 1996 Kanpur Dehat, which is the more
Okay,
rural
yeah,
side of the
rural
city,
area, yeah.
or basically the village part,
Yeah.
and then goes shifts back to 2003 Kanpur, and then eventually touches back to 2006. Okay, and therein lies my issue, that when it goes to 2003, it feels more like a gimmick to me rather than
It's redundancy. It's essentially
Exactly.
Or
I'm
is this the weapons problem of like just adding narratives, different narratives because you can?
that only Dhruv and Chris will.
No, I
आपने
don't
नहीं
think.
देखा?
I see my thing, which Dhruv and Chris call it an issue. I don't call it an issue. I think it's genuinely the fact that that was literally, I think Weapons ka DNA was like, I'm going to make a horror movie, but I'm also going to set it primarily and show suburban paranoia. That's what it was trying to do. And suburban paranoia can exhibit in multiple different ways. That is what I theoretically believe, that the multiple perspectives had the point, or at the point of existence. That is exactly why. Now, Dhruv and Chris is going to disagree with me entirely. इसके लिए एक अलग live stream चाहिए. I'm not even
मुझे तो
going there.
मेरी एक दोस्त ने मुझे कहा it was so lame. And that was all she said. And I was like, okay, fair enough, I guess.
Sir, वो तो one
diversity
word verdict
of opinion
तो हम
is...
दे सकते हैं.
No, but I think ordinary public जो अपना 5 दिन काम करके पिक्चर देखने जाती है वीकेंड पे, उनको वन वर्ड रिव्यू देना ठीक, I mean that's the right thing to do. हॉबीज थोड़ी हैं बैठ के पिक्चर देख रहे हैं, बट आई एम सेइंग
वो लोग ही कहेंगे निशान जी को, भाई इतना लंबा क्यों बनाया, which I completely also get. So
I mean, like,
ठीक है.
no, it's also because you look at time as a premium, right? Earlier, you had the languid nature of life where you can get up and go for a movie aram se. And so, like in smaller towns, life still goes on very slowly. आराम से काम होता है. So I get
जलपाईगुड़ी में रहता हूँ, I believe you.
नहीं सर, वो बंगालियों का आलस है, अलग बात है.
Sir, even considering that, it's slow.
So
आप continue करो.
but is there something new? And what I'm curious about is this just because you said greatest hits? Is this Kashyap just essentially rehashing what he's really good at, or is there actually something aside from the actors, perhaps Thackeray and Vedika Pinto? Is there something more to it ultimately?
I think the aesthetic is really good,
Okay.
but
Who
it's
shot it?
aesthetic. Sylvester
Sylvester
Fonseca.
Fonseca.
Same guy.
Same.
I'm saying the aesthetic is really good, which is the interesting part of the film, but that is also the part where he's most indulgent also.
Okay.
Yes.
I feel the aesthetic is the one which sort of commands the later half of the film
It dominates the film's proceedings. Okay.
at the end of the day. And I don't want to like point it in the episode, because I know you guys will also give it a shot, I'm sure.
Yeah.
When it comes up streaming.
रिफॉर्म काउंटी में रहता हूँ, थोड़ा तो बनना पड़ेगा ना उनकी तरह.
But the point is, what I was trying to say was, there's a very interesting element which happens towards the end of the film, with which it ends.
Also, just one clarification: Bengalis are not a race; they're a community.
A Bengali
you're a
sitting here.
communist?
I'm
Bengali
just
sitting here.
I'm a communist.
वाह
PJ,
सब
such
लो
a
मेरी,
PJ.
सब लो मेरी. वाह
It's like that joke from Twitter, you know. Oh, you're a leftist. Name everyone who left you.
Continue, please.
I hope
Kamal is
someone appreciated that joke, please.
I
And the
I
point
do.
is, with the point with which it ended,
yeah.
Hmm.
the idea again is interesting on paper. I'm
Hmm.
saying the way it is played out, which is like, it's that is the
I agree.
defining twist.
I
Hmm.
agree. I
It
agree.
does not work because it's not a twist. Because when you're aware of the idea
It's
of
an
it,
inevitability. It's not a twist. She's going to know anyway. It's not.
inevitability.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm saying, why are you stretching it like a rubber band? You try
Hmm.
to find a way to interject that. I don't know how. I'm not the writer of the film, so I don't know how to do it. But I'm saying, what if there was a different way? Again, this is not particularly then criticism because I'm what ifing the situation.
Yeah.
No, no, I'm not. I'm
If
going.
there was a
I think.
creative way
I
to
think a
interject
what
that
if,
Bolo,
if
bolo.
which ends up contributing to the film is still valuable rather than a complete, which was
Hmm.
me, Bobby Deol ko nikal do bastards.
So what
Continue.
I'm just trying to say is, if there was a
Yeah.
better way to interject that idea
Yeah.
and organically take it to that point, then it would have been much more meaningful for me as a viewer, and also as
Hmm.
someone who's always appreciated Kashyap, even though when his
Yeah.
films have not worked per se, even
I,
his lesser works also, I can see a lot of positives. That's
I
what I'm
don't
trying
think.
to say.
Absolutely.
I don't think Sanjit. I think what Sanjit is trying to say.
You don't need to tell me that. I like Bombay Velvet.
Yeah, that's a
I
good
think what
film.
Sanjit is trying to say, I somewhat agree. I don't think कि sequencing of the events को ज़्यादा change करने का ज़रूरत है. I really don't think that's the case, but there is of course redundancy here. What is very interesting is how the character of Bablu is shown in this. The
Okay.
complexity of the complexity of the character is really works for me because he is very
Yeah,
his character makes me uncomfortable. His character makes me uncomfortable in the movie, and I think there is a reason for that. Like it was very much defined. It
no,
was supposed to be.
Hmm.
It was supposed to be. You are supposed to be
no, I'm
like
saying no to Dhruv, by the way. Sorry, continue.
retroactive appreciation needs to be barred. I agree, but chalo, ठीक है, continue. But there is also the fact
Right.
that I understand what he's trying to do. I also understand that you have done stuff like this, making complex characters and making us feel both relatable and as well as repulsed. You have
Yeah.
done that, but you have done that in a more streamlined fashion in your own movies. This feels too long.
Right.
This feels too stretched.
I'm also curious. Amartya, I'm sorry. Have I interrupted you?
No, no, no. And also there is also one very simple fact: that the album is too chaotic.
Okay.
Like
Who's
Ah,
the
who's the
album is
composer?
too chaotic.
a bunch of them.
Oh,
Bunch of
Anurag
again.
Saikia, Manan Bhardwaj. Uh,
ये कैसा
there's
cocktail है?
also, wait, let me now Google it only so that I don't make that mistake. I know two
while
of them for
Sanjit,
sure because I
okay,
like some of the songs.
while Sanjit Googles,
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
saying that the album is too chaotic because he's trying to like assign music directors to different moments or different aesthetics, and that's how the songs are structured. My point is you are
Hmm.
putting too many flavors, and ultimately you're making this a quote unquote nothing burger in terms of sonics, because
Okay.
ultimately none of the music stands out.
You know
Then
what I'm a little curious about. Yeah, we are
okay,
just reaching it यार ध्रुव
okay,
रुको अभी हो
two
गया
more
दो
minutes.
दो घंटा पास हो गया अभी कुछ नहीं होगा.
हाँ.
Hmm.
डोंट वरी मेरे को भी क्विज के लिए जाना है यार मेरे को भी जाना है बाहर.
Oh,
अच्छा ठंडा
nice.
मौसम है सो व्हाट अंदर बैठ के करूंगा एनीवे सो what I'm curious about is because Guns and Gulabs came out just 2 years ago. Kashyap was so steadfast. मैं नहीं करूंगा Gangs of Wasseypur. मैं नहीं करूंगा Gangs of Wasseypur. That kind of insistence was there for years, and now we are like 13 years since Gangs of Wasseypur, and suddenly it feels like he's relented and given his hardcore fans the movie they always wanted in a way. The problem is Kashyap's hardcore fans have never really gone to the theater and watched his damn movies. है ना?
Yes.
तो मतलब बनाने का
Yes.
ही क्या फायदा हो गया?
But
Yes.
yeah, no,
I
I
will
feel
also say I will also say this is not Gangs of Wasseypur. I don't think calling this
No,
Gangs of Wasseypur.
I mean in the broader sense of
Yeah,
small
yeah.
town
I
India,
I'm just saying
gun
even in the
toters,
broader I'm just saying even in
Muphat
the broader
girls.
sense also
Yeah.
calling this Gangs of Wasseypur redux would be reductive in and of itself. Even in the
Okay.
broader sense, I don't think that is actually true.
Mm-hmm.
Gangs of Wasseypur had so much of a big substrate that the epicness is warranted for Gangs of
Hmm.
Wasseypur.
No. So I'm saying
Nishanji doesn't have that substrate at all.
that's what I'm
That
saying.
is my whole point.
He is stripping the best thematic or
Hmm.
not thematic, the best momentary elements from Gangs of Wasseypur
Hmm.
to assemble that kind of that kind of film, because Indians understand movies, or Hindi film watchers understand movies as urban films and this thing, and rural cinema, small town cinema, whatever you want to call it.
Yes, yes.
Swapnil यार अपना टेस्ट सुधारो.
No. One second. I'm sorry to interject, Varun.
हाँ नहीं, I was done. That's what I'm
I
trying to
have,
say.
I have a theory.
हाँ
Yeah, bolo.
Post whatever this almost pyar and whatever the last two films that he's made, which have
Yeah.
sort of been screened in places, which is I'm not talking
Almost
about
Bandar-
Pyar-
Bandar.
no,
I'm
no,
Almost
talking about
Pyar-
Kennedy
All.
and this film.
yeah,
But both seem a little, and this is just a
Greatest
theory.
hits.
No, they seem reverse engineered as an idea. Okay, Kennedy is a Bombay noir film. Nishanchi is a heartland crime saga, and then
Okay.
from there, the tonality is set, and then the story approaches the tonality. You
oh
get it,
god, okay, yeah.
rather than
Organic नहीं है. That's what
representation looks nice.
organic
हाँ,
नहीं
like-
है.
That's just a theory. And
उल्टा बनाना पिक्चर को बेसिकली, कि ये हमको ब्लॉकबस्टर फिल्म बनानी है, वो लाइक दैट
सर जब लगी थी तो आप निशांची देख आते.
हैप्पी एंडिंग वो
Swapnil, I'm going to say this. Like, I was surprised कि निशान जी का release इतना wide हुआ है, because anything that comes to Jalpaiguri is wide enough. ठीक है, मैं
नो
मतलब
सर, कहाँ वाइड है
सर आप हो
सर,
देश के बाहर, मैं देश के अंदर
मेरा
से
वही
कह रहा
पॉइंट है.
हूँ.
कश्यप इज प्रोबेबली द बेस्ट नोन हिंदी सिनेमा डायरेक्टर इन द लास्ट 25 years. बाहर देश में कौन जानता है हिंदी सिनेमा मेकर्स को, aside from करण जौहर एंड आदित्य चोपड़ा,
That is true. That
एंड
is
वो 90s के डायरेक्टर्स हैं. उनका
That
तो
is true, actually.
काफी पुराना विंटेज हो गया फिर उस हिसाब से.
And
कश्यप
also-
नॉट गेटिंग अ रिलीज, ही इज नॉट गॉटन वन शो इन लंदन सर. 200
हिंदी
मील दूर एक शो नहीं मिला है उसको. Amazon का रिलीज है.
And also, I'm going to say this also. Like, India में भी many people were unaware कि कश्यप का movie आ रहा है.
वो ना
Considers
बात
the fact
बहुत
that its
करता है.
name is
प्रॉब्लम उसका
निशांची.
वही है. उसको बुलाना चाहिए हमको पॉडकास्ट पे कि भाई तू बात ही कर ले हमारे साथ.
He's also one certified yapper only.
देख के मैंने उसके सारे बैकग्राउंड पे सुन लिए होंगे अब तक सारे इंटरव्यू. एनीवे
हाँ वही ना. It's-
I think
I don't want to. I
like
don't want to sound like a snob, but Kashyap is saying all the right things only, but he's also becoming repetitive in many of his podcasts.
he has been saying the same things for the last 15
तो आमिर
years.
खान के साथ भी तो वही हुआ है ना लास्ट.
सर मैंने वो
आमिर
5
खान
घंटे
की ना
वाला
शक्ल
लालन टॉप
नहीं
का
देखनी
इंटरव्यू
है.
नहीं देखा है, माफ कर.
मैंने देख
वो
लिया.
आप ही ने देखा है सर.
मेरे को नहीं देखनी आमिर खान की शक्ल ही नहीं देखनी मेरे को अगले 5 साल के लिए. ठीक है, इतना वो
सर आपने
सितारे
कूली
ज़मीन पर-
नहीं देखी ना.
आपने कूली नहीं देखा ना.
मैंने सितारे जमीन पर भी नहीं देखी. ठीक है, फिर भी मैं तंग हो गया हर
मत ही
जगह.
मत
देखो.
ही देखो, दोनों मूवी मत देखो, आप खुश
he was like COVID at its peak. हर जगह फैला हुआ.
On that amazing joke,
Oh, one word on
One
Honey
word
Don't.
on Honey Don't.
Dhruv
Much
loves
better
Margaret
made
Qualley.
film- Much better
Yes.
made film than the Drive Away Dolls. At least it looks like a movie rather than a student film जिसपे PowerPoint use किया है. So
Okay.
you know.
संजीत, आपका one word क्या है for Honey Don't? आपने नहीं
I
देखी.
only watched 20 minutes. I didn't finish the
Oh,
film.
you didn't finish
I
it.
need
Okay.
to watch it.
Chris,
आपको मार्गरेट कॉली पसंद है तो देखो, वरना नो थैंक यू.
from our non-visible member, मार्गरेट क्वालिटी के नाम पे वो मंदिर खोलने को तैयार है अभी.
Yeah.
Right
No,
next to his.
even I agree. Even
आराम से भाई
Mar-
स्वप्निल.
Margaret Qualley is extremely.
आमिर खान
Margaret
को ही
Qualley
गाली
is
दे दो ना.
Margaret Qualley is charismatic as hell in that entire movie. That's
Yeah, but my response to the film was just like, either I'm homophobic or this film is, which is, I mean that very lightly.
On that fabulous
On
note.
that wonderful note, thank you for joining in on the live stream. Thank you, Dhruv, for back end work. This is probably the last time I'll be hosting any of these. So, ध्रुव ने बोल दिया ना, बैन कर दिया उसने मेरे को unilaterally.
Yes.
ध्रुव ने कर दिया है.
ध्रुव, आप स्ट्रीम
निकलो
खत्म कर सकते हो. So, thank you for tuning in. खत्म.
Assalamu alaikum, lads.